Hello, everybody. It is the end of the first day of Roll20CON 2017, and as we all know, as the day ends and the night goes on, now is the time for stabbing people in the dark. Well, maybe
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe like more punching or possibly shooting. You
I'm a.
goons have many tools available to you.
I will shoot someone with a harpoon gun this session. I swear to
I
God.
believe you. I super believe you. Yeah. Let me just tell you. So we did character creation off stream, so we could be prepared for using the most of the 3 hours that we have to us. But I will say this that Andrew used the phrase "giant demon centipede"
Yeah.
at some point during character creation. So let's just keep that. Put that. It's Chekhov's centipede. Just put that in your pocket,
It
and
it says right here, hunting pet. Trained. It's trained.
it's trained. Yeah.
It doesn't say what it is.
Good. Good giant centipede. That's fine. So, if you're not already familiar with these lovely people, these are my friends, internet. These are my good friends, and I play role playing games with them sometimes. Maybe you've seen them before. We are currently in the midst of a Burning Wheel game and the Sprawl game, both right here on Roll20's Twitch channel and YouTube. But we wanted to do something extra special for you, so we're going to play a game that we enjoy called Blades in the Dark. So let's talk a little bit about the general premise, maybe, of the game for people who've not played or been exposed to Blades before. And then we can talk about the more specific setting that we're in. We can talk about the kind of crew y'all are, and then we can turn you loose on the poor city of Uduwasha. So, Blades in the Dark, and feel free, Andrew. I'll put this out here. Andrew has more experience than any of us, probably than all of us combined, with this particular game, because they are working on a.
I'm like up to here in Blades in the Dark trying to pull a baby out of
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah, that's totally.
Yeah.
That's fair and real. Yeah.
Oh my God, that analogy.
it's like that scene in
though.
Jurassic Park, okay? It's like that scene in Jurassic Park.
Oh no.
Yep. So Blades in the Dark is a large Triceratops. So I'm going to be relying on them quite a lot, because I have this thing that has happened because I've been playing Blades a long time, but I have played so many different versions of it.
Yeah, you've played through so many changes.
I now do
Yeah.
not remember most of how the game is supposed to work in its modern form. So I'm gonna let Andrew jump in and correct me on anything that I do wrong. So thank you in advance for doing that, Andrew. So yeah, Blades is a game about gangs of criminals who, by their various ways and means, are attempting to bolster their criminal empires, become bigger, better, tougher, and badder. And ultimately, I guess the idea is they can.
Harder, better, faster, stronger.
Yeah, exactly. It's about Daft Punk. And I guess the ultimate goal for any given character is to be able to retire, right? Is to make like a shit ton of money and then peace out.
In terms of the mechanics, sure.
Yeah,
That never happens. Ever.
but it's also very difficult to do. The game nominally is placed in an eternally dark city called Duskfall, but we are going to get on a boat and we're going to sail far away from the city of Duskfall. So, in leaving it behind, we find our game set in the city of Uduwasha, which is the jewel of the Black Desert, capital, I believe, of Eruvia. Similar jam though, because where there are people, there's crimes to be crimed.
Plenty crimes to
Yeah.
crime.
So instead of sort of industrial fantasy, we're gonna be seeing more like Eastern influence. I believe John calls on Egypt, Persia, and India as the inspirations for this. The setting. It is a demon haunted place rather than ghosts. And to give you an idea of kind of what Uduwasha is like, it's an ancient city where 4 stars fell from heaven a long time ago, and they're said to contain demons within them. There are these black obelisks that dot the landscape of Uduwasha, and at the center, burning brilliantly, is the well Udu. And the well is a geyser of flame who is protected by metal sheets that open and close over it to give the city a sort of night and day cycle and to power its industry. So yeah, demons and stabbings and bad stuff.
And the well is like a well of souls, basically,
Yes,
right?
it is a big old soul vacuum.
Yeah.
So when you die, your soul is drawn into the well and consumed by the great and terrible fire within. Unless you've made other arrangements.
Sounds great.
You dare look upon the host of souls. But
It's full of the hatred of 10,000 years. Okay.
I wasn't prepared for that, Adam.
No, it's fine. Stop interloping so hard.
as long as we don't break ourselves upon its body.
So the city is ruled by 4 noble houses who each run they each run up a portion of the city, and they swear literal or metaphorical fealty, depending on who you ask, to one of the 4 demon princes of Uduwasha. So House Anixis, House Ankayat, House Ankuset, and House Ansurek are our noble houses. And instead of blue coats, this city has the Gualim, the mysterious guardians of the city, who patrol the streets and enforce the edicts of the conclave. So they are wrapped in black gauze and silver wire, chosen by the demon princes and anointed to do their will, which usually means busting skulls and taking souls. So they're gonna want to look out for those guys. There are many other factions within the city, but we're only going to concern ourselves with the ones that you've managed to piss off. So let's talk about you, shall we? Let's have a conversation about these goons. So in Blades, we make characters, and each character has they have a specialty. They have something that they are particularly good at, and for whom they're best known. And then they come together to form a gang. They form a crew, and the crew has its own specialties. So let's introduce our characters. Y'all wanna go around and talk about your name? Tell us the playbook you chose. Give us a little description of your character.
Very well, I shall begin. My character's name is Esha Kavira. She goes by the alias Silk. She is a woman, delicate, affable attituded, skirt and blouse, feathered cape, fancy cane, nice, like good talker. She's the slide playbook. And I have an ability that allows me to always tell if you're lying. There's no roll needed. I just know if you're lying all the time. Mm-hmm. Called like looking into a mirror. And I think that's all of the major points.
Mm-hmm. What's your heritage, your background, and your vice?
My heritage is that I'm Eruvian. I'm an Uduwasha native, so I'm from here. And my background is that I'm a trader. I'm a broker of deals between varying factions or various merchants. If you have wood and those guys need wood, then I can make that happen. I realized that wood was the thing that I don't know why I picked wood.
They have sheep and you
bricks.
have wood.
Yeah.
A contract must be written out.
You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
Yep, I feel that. And then what's your vice? Every character, in Blades is caught up in a vice. They have something that helps them de-stress, but also that they're driven to pursue.
And of course, my vice is that I am a gambler. I gamble at the circle dueling arena in Vasuat, and my contact there is Pasha.
Right, and this is a dueling arena in the sense of like gladiatorial battles.
Yeah, this is like fights.
Yeah.
There were fighting pits and a dueling arena, so I don't know if they're probably different.
One is like a dive bar, and the other's a nice restaurant. You go to the nice one. A dueling arena versus fighting pits. Right? There's no pit here. It's an arena. There's rules.
It's an arena. There's rules. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I dig it. Excellent. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Yeah, do it.
So my character is Eloni. Their alias is Salt. They're actually originally from the Dagger Isles, which is like nearby, and is sort of this is an evil, dark, tropical place where the sky has gone black and now it's all fucking sinister. And they were born on a ship and have lived most of their life out at sea, which is an even more horrifying place. And so they've been like exposed to like ghosts, and they've seen leviathans and all this kind of crap. And they spent their time salvaging out on the dead seas, dredging up old ships and stuff like that. And now they've come to Uduwasha to probably running away from something. And so my character is a hound, and so I'm like a tracker, sharpshooter, and in my case also a demolition crew, all rolled up in one. And I have my pet, whose name is Foe, who is a giant demon centipede thing. And my character is this kind of like Polynesian or like Samoan looking person who's got a very like butch aesthetic and is very like strong and wiry. But they are concealing their face with a headscarf because they want to try to blend in a little bit more with the locals. And they speak the language well enough to do so. And my vice is weird. I go and talk to the Blackwood Serpent, which is a coiled monstrosity hidden in shadows, whispering strange portents. This is what I'm addicted to.
Yeah, listen, some people have problems with expensive clothing. Some people are gamblers. Some people listen to the whispers of the Blackwood Serpent, what dwells in darkness.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Don't judge, okay? It's fine. It's the same as gambling, really.
So is there a like Blackwood Serpent Whispers in Darkness Anonymous? Like you could go to meetings or
I don't think there's like a club where you go do this. I think it's like a very private matter where they seek it out, and it moves around.
I was gonna say
sure.
the Blackwood Serpent doesn't have like an organized cult or anything, right? Like it may whisper to others, but it doesn't like.
Yeah, no, it's not an organized thing at all, and I think it's just like that in the past maybe Eloni like had like dreams where they saw leviathans and they were trying to like curry my soul from me and stuff like that, and that now I've just fallen into the same old patterns but with this other thing that exists here. And so whatever I was running away from at sea, it's in me, right? This this weakness for this stuff is in me, so I don't escape it when I go somewhere else.
Cool. Okay. Mark a challenging test for corruption.
Yeah, exactly. Like definitely my character has been exposed to the supernatural a lot, and it has left its mark on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is maybe less it happens to a lot of people that are like you, right? You're outside the barriers.
Yeah,
and
it's like how coal miners get the black lung, you got the black
out there
soul. And yeah, right. Like it just is a thing that is accepted to happen. And so people who are sailors have all these superstitious things attached to them.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that's me.
Terrifying. Okay, great. And your special ability you took was Ghost Hunter?
Oh, right. I took Ghost Hunter. So my hunting pet is imbued with spirit energy, but I think in this case it's demon blood, because we're in Uduwasha where there aren't as many ghosts, but there are a lot more demons. And so yeah, this like enormous demon-blooded centipede that has the antenna that are like the leaf shape, and so it's really good at like smelling and hearing things and tracking people, and it can be arrow swift when it needs to be. So it moves with this like horrifying speed as it like ticks
just
along
watching
walls
Blue
and
Jay's
stuff.
face through this entire description is the best thing in the world.
And so it's not necessarily great at like fighting stuff, but it's really good at finding things that don't want to be found.
Yeah,
because it would like burrow around, and like it's an underground hunter.
Get away from
things.
Me, creepy centipede.
I want one. It sounds so cuddly and
no,
fantastic.
And it'll like crawl along
with that many legs.
Can
you imagine the hugs?
It's like someone with a pet snake, where they're
probably climbs around in your clothes and stuff.
Yeah. And I always wear this. This big,
you like put your hand on someone, it crawls out of your sleeve, and
is like inspecting them.
Oh, no, I hate it. All right,
and
cool.
So
well,
I always wear this like enormous coat because I'm used to like being out at sea, and I don't wear shoes, and the bottom of their feet are like stained with tar from being on ships and climbing ropes and that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I feel like I didn't go in depth enough. You got like more detail there.
The thing here is that Andrew is describing their character to us, but mostly we're here for the centipede.
It's true.
Mostly.
Oh, come on, guys.
Mostly it's the centipede.
I didn't get this centipede to pick up chicks, okay?
Listen, we made you a new playbook. It's called the Centipede. You get a free, but hey, you get a free blade as your familiar, so that's cool.
Yeah, you get the scoundrel that hangs out with you sometimes.
Yeah.
They're just a piece of gear. It's fine.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, last but not least, Blue Jay, do you want to tell us about your character?
Sure. My character is a cutter. Her name is Navya Dava, alias the Broom, and she is a woman. She's massive. She's like 6'3", really broad shoulders. She's like, she fills up an entire doorway, but she's not fat. She's just built. She's been muscle.
Her frame is like is wide. Yeah.
And so she wears like a long tunic type shirt and like loose pants, hide lots of weapons in them. And then she has this faded, used to be blue, now it's like this gray white belt sash. She's a Rubian. She's from here. She's from Uduwasha, and she's part of she was part of a crime family. She's basically just spent her whole life fighting, training to fight, and learning how to be a fucking underworld badass. And her vice is obligation. She's obligated to her former coworkers in the Irajin.
Yeah, I feel like the degree to which you are or are not part of the Irajin is
it's
negotiable.
Yeah,
like
it's a mystery.
So the Irajin is they used to be official overseers of commerce and taxation, but became so corrupt with extortion and embezzlement they were censored by the conclave and relegated to a criminal enterprise. Irajin is Hadrathi for the blind, which is to say, like, willing to turn a blind eye, right? Blind for the right amount of coin.
Yeah, and so she's like pretty much a bodyguard for, like, she's the intimidating shadow behind the smooth talker that is Silk.
Nice. Cool. And so the three of you have gotten together to form a little organization, a little group of Bravos. Let's talk a little bit about what that means. So Bravos are mercenaries, thugs, and killers. So your jam is breaking, destroying, smash and grabs.
Extortion.
We talked a lot about extortion being like kind of one of your main things.
Adam, we break things: bones, buildings,
Hearts.
people,
Hearts every now and then. Yeah.
hearts. Yeah,
The law constantly, but yeah. So
the law.
that's a big one, important for this game. So Bravos are, they're not assassins in the sense that you're not playing characters who are like paid to go kill people, but that you do get paid to commit violence. You get paid.
Assassination
to
is very precise,
yeah,
right?
I mean, someone might end up dead. You may end up in the same place as a group of assassins, but if you do it, it's probably that their house got blown up rather than say like they were killed by a poison dart through a window.
I mean, if we do it, it's probably gonna hurt more.
Yeah.
Yes.
And probably it's on a larger scale too. Like lots of less important people die when we engage in violence versus killing the one really important person.
It's true. Yeah. We're not low chaos, low whatever. We're high chaos, high whatever the other thing is. The Dishonored playthrough.
Yeah,
that's what we are.
The high chaos playthrough. Yes, so you can expect lots of that business.
And we have a gang of thugs.
Yeah, we do.
Who are our friends.
Yeah. So
sort of.
Your crew is known, however, all of that being true, your crew is known to be honorable. So you're honorable mercenaries, thugs, and killers.
Well, like in the code of the streets kind of way.
You
right?
can be an honorable extortionist.
I believe you. That's what we're here to see.
I never smash windows after taking anyone's money.
No,
honestly,
it's
you
exactly.
ought to be an honorable extortionist, because like the point is like you're saying, if you don't do what you say, then why would
it's
people
protection
give you
money? Why would I break your shit after you paid me?
Yeah, and so your hunting ground, if I move the sheet, there we go. Your hunting ground is this little corner right here, which is known as the Hathu Bazaar. The bazaar is, as you might imagine, a bunch of tables and tents, an open area where hawkers sell all kinds of objects mundane and mysterious. and that is where you hunt. That's your operating vicinity. It's in the neighborhood of, what do we decide? Because you work out of a different neighborhood than where you stay.
No,
We're on the opposite end of the district.
Yeah, we're on
That's
the
right.
opposite
Is where
end
our
of the
hideout
district.
is.
Yeah, because
It's Basuat, I think.
Yeah.
Betuat.
Betuat, yeah.
Yeah. So you prowl the market, looking for suckers, basically, to pay you off.
Well, I mean, this is a place where the Irahim like have their big
Yeah.
This is where they hold sway.
Well,
and we're subcontractors.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit before, where I think that the Irahim, probably if you were to ask them, they don't acknowledge that you're not them. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
of course. Those.
Unless we fuck up.
Right. Well, you have a +3 status with the Irahim, which I believe means that if someone picks a fight with you, they will come to your aid.
Yeah.
So you operate under the Irahim for now. You're also relatively friendly with a group called the Forsaken, which are kind of like the underdogs. They're a bunch of exiles and outcasts from the other criminal organizations. So you've got some contacts in common with them. However, you've made some enemies. Now you're not at war with anybody, but you're getting pretty close.
It's pretty damn close.
Yeah, you're getting pretty damn close with two organizations. The Atahim. The Atahim are known as the Hawks. They are former military who have returned to the city to ply their skills as criminals. So there are also lots of Atahim allied bravos. They're good at wrecking things and causing violence.
Yeah, I mean, they're former military, right?
Yeah, they will go out of their way to mess with you if they have the opportunity. And then the Falling Star Sword School, who are a school of duelists. They're opposed by, what's the other one? The Rising Moon, I think is the name of the other one.
Yeah,
I just remembered why
they're.
they're pissed at us, and I couldn't help but laugh.
Yeah, and they're at -2 because you stole a bunch of their swords.
Look, they fell off a wagon. Okay,
Yeah,
just chill.
there was a
Just
sword
chill.
wagon. No, but there was a blacksmith who
They
made
fell
them.
off a wagon.
They made them all these like beautiful swords, and there's no question who they belong to, right? These swords are carved with, and when we say swords, like gentle, like curved swords, beautiful steel. They're fantastic weapons.
Gentle, huh?
And they're elegant, and they're meant for the professional hands of the Falling Star School. However, you and your goons got a hold of them, and now you just walk around the streets with their swords in hand. So they're pissed.
It says like Falling Star and like a fancy inscription on the side and
It has
everything.
like an icon of a
Yeah, it has beautiful etchings in the steel of like stars in the sky. Yeah, but they're yours now. Which is represented up here by a weapon quality upgrade. So you've got some fine swords.
and some fine pistols and rifles for me.
That's right. Yeah. So you have a bunch of cool stuff. Your special ability as a crew is that you are dangerous. So everybody got an extra die of either hunt, skirmish, or wreck. And that's how that goes.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get into some trouble, shall we?
Oh yeah.
So the flow of the game, and I figure we'll probably, depending on our pacing, because we only did a half hour for character intro stuff, so we've got 2.5 hours. I think we should be able to do a score and then maybe like quick downtime. The game has a structure. Now, if you're used to watching, like, say, The Sprawl, it's much less structured than that. But there is similar flow in that the early bits, we'll have some free time. Y'all can do some scenes, do a little bit of exploring, gathering information. And then once you've chosen a target and chosen a plan, we make an engagement roll, we do the score, and then there's downtime to recover. And then we just sort of rotate like so.
Alrighty.
So yeah, I mean, does anybody wanna frame up an introductory scene?
The first thing that I think of when I think of this setting and this game is like we're already in the bazaar somewhere, and I'm already busy trying to talk someone into like cutting us in on what they are making. Like if I were to introduce my character it would
be in your work, right?
Yeah, in the first scene of the first episode of the first show of whatever this is, she'd be talking someone into like paying up.
Yeah, totally. You're there to collect, right?
Yeah.
So you're extorting. I think you're extorting like a tea stall. There's a shop where they make like I don't know what country in real life this is from, but they make the tea in the samovars.
Oh yeah.
I think it's Turkish. I guess it's coffee. It's Turkish coffee. But so it's
Yeah.
like a little like a coffee stall, and there's a man who owns it. Let me get my cool Aruvian name list, and we'll name this guy.
Yeah, do it.
And you can just be like extorting him, and we'll see if this extortion is going well or if he's resisting.
And here's the thing, because this is in our hunting grounds, we get +1 die to gather info and free downtime to prep if our score is going to happen here. So maybe we're gearing up for a score in this area. And this is part of that.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so this guy's name is Kotar, and Kotar has been I don't know, is he a well-established client of yours?
I definitely think we've been it's been a couple of weeks sort of thing, that I've been coming back and asking him for money.
Not
for
having the money.
Jesus, he has to pay you weekly?
Yeah,
all right.
weekly.
So
because it's the bazaar, everyone's temporarily
they kind of move around.
I guess this is the very typical but I paid you last week, I have no money for you, I can barely make it by, look. And he shows you, and there's 2 or 3 other people in the stall, smoking hand-rolled cigarettes and arguing over a card game, but the business is a little slow in his stall, and Kotar is like, please, I need more time, I cannot pay you again.
Listen, Kotar, it's real nice that you think you can just hold out on us here, but this is the 3rd week in a row that I've come here and you've given me this shit. I'm not having it. I know you're making money. I see people coming in and out of here. I see people buying from you. That money is mine. That money is ours. I say, pointing to the two very much larger people who are with me, I imagine. Yeah, please.
No, I'm just this is pretty common. We have our way of doing work, and I'm just standing two long foot strides behind you and off to the side, my arms crossed. Just my face is a complete blank. You couldn't tell whether I was happy or sad or angry, and I'm just waiting for you to get done with running your mouth with this guy and tell me to hit somebody.
Now, Kotar, you can talk to Rahim. You can talk to Navira. I say, pointing to various stalls across the way. Shopkeep.
Sure.
You can talk to them and ask them what happens when you don't have money for me.
And in the background of in that moment, we see Eloni kicking the leg out from someone's table, and it falls over, and all the fruit roll down the street, and they pick one up and bite into it, and are haggling with this guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People have been known to lose fingers. I'm just warning you.
And to make that I just crack my knuckles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's audible at 3 meters distance.
It's so loud.
And so I think while you're saying this, the 2 men at the table playing cards have noticed there's some stuff, and they've gotten up and they've left. and he's like, you come here to intimidate me. You tell me that I will lose my business if I don't pay you. But look, and he points to the empty table. And he's like, you're driving away my customers.
Did they put any cash on the table to pay for their shit?
Yeah.
Can I walk over to the table and pick it up and I just very slowly and intentionally walk over to the table that he's motioning to, and I look at him and I pick the money up off the table and I put it in my pocket.
See, Kotar, what did I say? Money. Look right there. By the way, is he lying to me? Can he pay me? Because I know.
Yeah. I mean, he's not lying. He's just doing the thing. You have to deal with this all the time, right? Where he's going to pay you, and he knows he's going to pay you, but he's grumbling about it. He doesn't have the stink of desperation, right?
He just really doesn't want to.
He just doesn't want
really
to, and he's
doesn't
putting
want
up a fight for his dignity, right?
Yeah, so
that later when he goes home and his wife is like, why don't you have as much money as you said you're going to? He can be like, those terrible criminals. I stood up to them as much as I could, but he has to feel good about it. Anyway.
The attitude from Silk is not an attitude of you're lying to me, you bastard. It's more let's get through this song and dance. Am I going to have to hurt you? You know, sort of sort of
Yeah,
a
is
thing.
this the tacit resistance you always put up, or is this
Yeah,
something else?
exactly.
Yeah,
And,
you just have
like-
to like play through it.
And like you guys are still talking, and I look down at like the game that they were playing on the table, and I like move some kind of like maybe it was chess or something like chess, and I move a piece, and then I like look down at it again, and like that I start playing with myself.
Just like a game
Yeah,
board.
it's like an old Eruvian game that found its way into the city from like the desert tribes. It's called City of Brass, and it's like kind of like backgammon. You play like little
Yeah.
demons, and you move your, and it's like little black and white pieces.
And I'm just playing it with myself,
Yeah, okay, so you just like move
picking
some
up where
pieces.
the people who ran off left off.
Yeah, and the set belongs to him, right? You can't have like a tea shop or a coffee house and not have a set of this.
It's expected.
It's expected.
Yeah.
So, Kotar, I'm out of patience. Money
And he,
or
like,
pain?
yeah, and he grumbles.
Money or pain?
He grumbles and he walks back over. He's got over his little like the center of his stall that contains his stuff that he makes to make the tea. He walks over and he reaches under the counter. And he pulls out a box and he grumbles and sets it on the counter. And it you know, there's a weight to it. It like clatters on the table, and he takes out a key and he opens it. And he just like looks at you like just grumbling. And he takes out a I guess like a purse of coins, counts them, like jingles them in his hand, and comes over and like claps the bag into your hand. And he scowls and he says, he's like, take it, you pirates.
I just pocket that away in my loose silks somewhere, you know, like
Yeah.
and go. Pleasure doing business. I'll be back same time next week. Make sure this is a little more expedient, and maybe you won't lose those customers you so desperately.
Yeah, and he grumbles some more, and he's like, 1,000 curses on you and the filthy private parts you came out of.
And
Yes, and 1,000 curses on you and your whore of a mother. Like,
Yeah, and he's just like angry. He walks over to the table and just like picks up the cups, the little like porcelain cups.
while he was rummaging through his bags, like I picked up a still like hot half drunk cup of coffee and I tried it and I set it down, and as we were walking out I turned to him and I'm like, you make good coffee, and then I like walked.
nice.
Yeah, so he's just he's just grumbling and like putting all this stuff away. And then I guess the two of you cross the
We go to meet up with
We go meet up with Elodie.
And so yeah, while they've been like interrogating this guy and trying to get him to pay up, Eloni has just been like making the rounds, checking up on everyone.
Mhm.
And Adam, I'm wondering if I can like survey our like. I think
Our
Eloni
domain.
thinks of them as like livestock, right? Like these chickens are going to lay eggs soon. I
Right.
want to know what's going on. And so yeah, I want to like survey our little area here because I'm and correct me if I am wrong, team, but it feels like we are gearing up for our like this is like rent day. It's like our big
Yeah, like
extortion
our- like
operation
our
in the
rounds.
bazaar, right?
Yeah.
So this is to see if anything's going to come and like fuck us over when collection day hits.
Yeah, is there a patrol or a
Mhm.
some shit?
Yeah.
Like
so,
who's planning to rebel against our extortion ring?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
cool. And so I get +1 die because it is on our hunting grounds.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to roll survey.
Okay.
Are we just going to do like a less consequential downtime thing here, or should I
Yeah.
just go risky standard? Or
I mean, I think it's controlled. Like it's your territory. You're on your terms,
Okay.
right? You're dominant in this little like collection of tables.
yeah, like we're tier 0, so this is like we're very small time crooks, but
Yeah.
at least here this is our little
Yeah, in this
corner.
moment here, yeah, I would say it's
Look, there's always an alleyway that belongs to whoever. This is our alleyway. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
to
it's
speak.
controlled. It's controlled. I think it's a standard effect though. This isn't. You don't have any
Yeah.
like. It's not gonna necessarily go big
Mm.
for you here.
And so I get a bonus die.
Oh boy. Oh, that's not good. Well, hey, at least
I mean, it's controlled, so
This is
like
controlled.
not much can go wrong. It's like a threat I see coming, or
Yeah. So the consequence of like a 2 being your best roll. Oh boy, that's all right. Get it out of the way now.
and this is for gather info.
Yes. Yeah. So for gather info, let's
Like, do you want to do it the style where like I still ask a question, but it's like gonna be
Prepare for
bad
the
for
worst.
us, right? Like you
Yeah.
give me the bad answer, or
Yeah, I think.
how do you
I
want to
think-
run it?
I think so. Yeah, I'll answer you with a level of detail depending on the effect. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So what I want to know is what's really going on here, right? Like everything appears to be business as usual, but Elonia is always very suspicious and like often to a fault. But so they're like sniffing out some kind of trouble today.
Yeah. Okay. So something that you've noticed, and you noticed this in Kotar walking away. Kotar is walking away with a bit of a limp, which is unusual for him.
And we haven't beaten him lately,
We
right?
didn't hit him.
And
yeah.
then when you notice it, you're like, huh, he's limping. You think back to we flash momentarily back to the when you knocked some fruit off of the stand, the woman who owns it, she like went to grab something like a melon as it was tumbling off, and you saw her wince and like hold her wrist.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, and that first guy we talked to this morning, he had a black eye. Somebody has like come around and been beating up
They've roughed up all our people.
Yeah, but none of them said anything.
And yeah, so when my two companions like cross the street to come talk to me, I'm like grilling. Damn it! What Blue Jay? What's your character's name again? Sorry, I'm gonna write this down so I don't forget.
Navia Dava Broom.
Navia.
Navia.
All right, Broom. Right, that's your nickname.
Salt, yeah, Salt, Silk, and Broom.
Salt, Silk, and Broom. And so yeah, you come over and I'm like, have you been sweeping these people? And that's our classic for like, you know, like when you are sweeping, it's you
Yeah.
fucking people up, right?
Are you friends with my wife?
And then I look at the person you're gesturing to because I honestly have to like remember if I have or not.
Yeah, and this is like I'm not. It's not accusatory. I'm just like, yeah. Did you have to beat these people up? Because like sometimes I have to beat them up. Sometimes you have to.
Yeah,
beat them up.
and
It's normal.
I look at them and I'm like, not this week.
Well, someone else did. It's bad for business. And I look over at Silk. I'm like, boss, what the fuck? Who's honing in on us?
Shit. Well, if they're all getting their asses kicked and none of them said anything to us, what's the point of them paying protection money? Clearly it's someone they're fucking scared of. Best we find out, I think.
I think when it comes time for these chickens to lay eggs, we find someone else with their hand in the basket.
I think you're right. Somebody else is going to be coming around, but I mean, I guess I could ask around, see if there's anything. I don't know what you want to do here in terms of rules wise, like just because we've got like the one downtime action, right, which I think you just used for gather info.
So maybe what follows, we just
I was gonna
move to the engagement roll, right? And that sets how prepared we are. And
Yeah,
everything,
that sets
right?
how prepared we are for whatever happens next, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because like I was gonna go like I can consort and like ask around who they've seen like here.
But yeah, all of that like prep, we just sum up in the
We sum up
engagement
in
roll, right?
in the engagement roll, exactly.
Okay.
So
And-
if the job is like find out who's wrecking our people and wreck them back,
Counter wrecking. Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like what Elonia is suggesting is that like we just show up and it's just that, you know, this particular week we're gonna have to fuck someone up and then exploit these people.
Yeah.
Right? There's just gonna be this little problem to deal with first, and then it's back to business as usual.
So at what point have we been leaving these people alone too long?
Do we need to start collecting every day?
I mean, weekly usually works. It's worked before, but it's just a matter of reinforcement. Whoever's been doing this, we'll deal with them. Engagement roll.
Yeah, and then we cut away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
So it's a fortune roll.
let's talk
I
about
think.
how we engage. So the engagement roll basically gives us it sets the tone, but you have to know. Don't you have to have like a target and a plan?
We have to have a
Yeah,
plan.
so-
Yeah.
So let's
So
talk
what
about-
kind of job is it? So
I feel like
think-
it's still extortion.
yeah,
We're
But-
still just
but-
trying to get our money from these people that owe us money.
but we have the like 7 different types of job, right? Assault, occult, deception, social, stealth, transport. So would you call it assault, but like on the people who are going to be here that aren't supposed to be here? Or
My gut tells me that we're just doing our extortion, but we're gonna show up and there are going to be barriers to that we will just have to eliminate first. It's just like a more complicated extortion than usual.
Okay.
Is my
All right.
is how I feel. This
Yeah, I mean, I
what this
wonder-
job is.
I wonder if maybe I should give you more detail on the gathering information.
Yeah, I think.
To give
What
you
if
a target.
What if I roll
Yeah.
a consort and we see
Let's
if like
let's do that. If you're gonna
if
ask
I can
first.
pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then if we have a specific set of people to go
So-
rough up,
so I
we can
turned-
actually do that.
It's a transport job. Move the money to your pockets.
And I turn to my two much larger ladies and say, I'll ask around in the stalls, see if anybody's gonna talk. If anybody does, then we'll know who to go after, and maybe we can preempt this next time. Wonder if it's fucking Hashem again, like muttering about some guy that we
You're
beat
just
up
like
before.
The usual
Yeah.
suspects start coming into your mind. Yeah.
Mhm.
So let me roll a consort and we'll see.
Okay.
So I guess just base risky standard for like an out of job roll or like
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. Because this is this is riskier for sure.
Yeah, now that I've
Five.
biffed a roll, we're down into
There
a
you go,
risky
that's not bad.
so
situation.
I've succeeded, but something happens.
Okay, so you're talking. What do you? I guess describe to me what you're actually doing, so that I can
So-
give you what you've earned.
So Silk goes past Kotar's like little stall area to one of the other stalls nearby that's like selling, I don't know, small jewelry or something like basic, gemstone kind of stuff. And speaks to the proprietor. And maybe they don't say anything, but then she moves on to the next one and then starts talking to somebody else. It's very much like not engaging particular people, but trying to get a sense of like what everybody has to say, like around this area. And she
Mhm.
moves very quickly between these places. Like, no, you don't have anything useful. Okay, next person. No, you don't have anything useful. Okay, next person. Who have you seen fucking punching Kotar in the face? No one. All right, move
right.
on. Like that kind of stuff.
Okay. So yeah, I think that you end up talking to somebody who is a client of, like, they're a bit big for you. They're established, right? It's
They're
probably
near Irahim.
a family owned. Yeah, they go straight to the Irhim. They don't need to go through you. But they recognize you. They've seen you. They've seen you around. It's a woman whose name is, I'm tempted to name her Lanaya, but then I'm just gonna forget her name every time I try to remember it. Her name is Nishala.
Inshallah.
Yeah, and she's actually like the granddaughter of the person who owns the stall, and like you said, she sells. They sell jewelry.
Mm.
And she talks to you about how, I think she's near enough to Kotar to have like seen, and she's like, so I guess what do you ask? You're asking like, did you see anything?
Like who came through other than we did, like doing the same stuff that we do.
Yeah. So she says, well, to many of the people in this bazaar, one criminal is as good as the next. You're all just bad seeds to them, but I know better. I haven't seen any of my usual friends in a little while, but I noticed Kotar speaking just yesterday with three. And she's like, you can see her trying to find like a politic way of putting this.
Out with it. Come on, fast.
She says, I thought perhaps at first that they were dancers, something about the way that they moved, but too angry. Something about them like coiled vipers. They were asking him for something. It didn't seem like they wanted to be paid. I'm not an eavesdropper. I gave him his privacy to be beaten in peace, but and she I guess she describes they're all dressed similarly.
Yeah, it's the Fallen Star
yeah,
school,
it's the
right?
Fallen Star. Yeah.
So there's this moment of like acknowledgement of like that being useful from Silk. She sort of goes, right. Well, I think I know who's asking around, and we can solve this problem. And like, blessings upon you and your family. Thank you. And
Yeah. and
turn and head back towards my two.
I do my like customary like this. You're done talking, okay? And I go up to the stall and I look at a pair of earrings and I say, "These are very pretty." And then I like I look at the girl and I like wink a little, and then I turn around and like go follow Silk.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just kind of scowls at you like,
Yeah, I feel like-
amateur. I've been
I feel-
intimidated by tougher people than you.
I feel like
I wasn't trying to
movements
intimidate her.
are all very like quick. You know, it's like, okay, I'm done here. Move on to the next thing.
Like very abrupt. Like she'll
yeah,
just kind of
exactly.
But
like,
my
very
strides
straight.
are so long that even though like you're like quickly
Yeah.
darting from place to place, I can easily keep up with you and look like I'm going slowly.
Definitely, you've got that intimidation factor.
Oh god, Broom does the thing where like the horror movie thing where you're walking and people are like running away and you're just like walking after
like a
them and they can't get
Terminator.
away.
It's
Excellent.
great.
Excellent.
All right, so I speak to both my compatriots and I say, it's the Fallen Star. They're looking for us. I can almost guarantee they want their weapons back, but I'm not planning to give them back. Not into their hands, anyway.
I must agree, they are very nice weapons. I would not want to lose them, but using them, that is different.
Here's the question, ladies. Do we preempt them, or do we wait for them to come through again?
Don't need to expend the effort. They will come to us.
Not to mention attacking their school would be a little tough.
We
One of them
defend our
would be.
territory.
So
It
get
is easy
comfortable.
to explain.
We wait for them to come around again, and then we beat them.
Great.
Just so.
All right. So I guess the plan here is just to set an ambush for
Set an
the
ambush
group
for
of
the-
them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they're gonna try to come into our turf, take our corners. Hell no.
I mean, I don't think that's quite what's going on.
No, they're
Or
asking
they
questions.
just
They're-
actually want to beat us up.
Yes,
Yeah.
they just want to find you and beat the shit out of you, and get their weapons back.
They can try.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the plan?
I will stand here. I will cross my arms. They will come at me. I will.
I think it's almost a deception plan, because it's a matter of like, maybe we leave Broom standing alone somewhere, and that's bait, you know, and they go to mess with one of us alone,
No.
and all three of
No,
us
no,
are
no,
there.
no, no, no.
It's
It's just a
definitely-
fucking battle. Okay,
It's a
guys?
street
It's a
fight.
battle. We just we fight them. Like maybe it's a little
All
bit
right.
underhanded, but like
This is
it's
so
not
it's-
really deception.
so-
I mean, it's only
so-
underhanded because you have a giant fucking centipede.
This is
All right,
this is
all
like
right.
this is the baseball Furies versus the Warriors in Central Park. That's what this
Yeah.
shit is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna
we
be
just
like-
call this. We just call this an assault then. Assault, point of entry is in our turf.
It's just like our turf at the fake dawn where like they start venting the heat from the thing, and like at first light before the shops really get going, we're all just like waiting, and they like come down the street. You know, it's gonna be one of those.
Yeah.
I'm having coffee
Snapping.
that I will not.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got our
Broom's
goons.
just there like sipping coffee,
We've got our full goon squad with us.
and yeah, we bring the squad.
And you have all their swords. Excellent.
Yeah.
Ah, of
Okay.
course. I am.
'Cause, yeah, it's not
making
just
sure
us
it's
with their
very
weapons.
shiny.
It's also like our cohort.
Yeah, our cohort of
Like,
goons.
maybe not mechanically, but like they're still toting some of them.
Yeah, now they're a bigger, tougher gang than you. Like you have their weapons, but they're still decently well equipped, and they are tier 1 and you're tier 0. So
Can I call on a friend?
your tenacity is going to count for a lot.
But
yeah,
I
well-
also think because we're in our territory and not like going to their stuff, like
well,
they're
it's
not gonna
not.
have the
Now remember,
whole
it's
school
your
with them,
hunting
right?
grounds, not your turf. You don't own the
Sure.
market.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just think you do.
we just act like we do.
You just act like you do. Okay, so it's an assault plan. You're going to do violence
Yeah.
to a target. The point of attack is just standing out in the open and being like, you don't have to dick around. We're right here. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And then any of the shenanigans we want to pull are just all going to happen in flashback. Is the key with Blades,
Yes.
right? So if it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I hired my friend to be here to like back us up, and they're going to show up just after the other guys show up, then that's
Okay.
cool. We just do a flashback and we settle.
Yeah,
that.
it's all flashback
It's
mechanics.
just a brawl.
If I'm like, oh, but I set a tripwire there, you know,
Oh,
like
yeah,
you
I
can do
will
that.
have booby trapped the fuck out of everything.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Okay, so let's talk about the engagement roll then. So it's a fortune roll starting with 1 die for sheer luck. Is this operation particularly bold or daring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
think
say that it
so.
is.
Yeah.
Come at me, bro.
These guys are professional fighters. Like their
Yeah.
job is they're martial artists. This is picking a fight with people whose job is to fight.
Yeah, but like our job is to be
No.
too.
Yeah.
This is true.
So it's particularly boulder daring, so it gives you an extra die. It's definitely not overly complex or contingent on many factors. Just they show up and then Truncheon meets Skull.
They show up and we drop the hammer.
Yeah.
I mean, we're bravos. If our plan is ever complicated, we have fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? No. Is the target strongest against this approach or have particular defenses or special preparations? Yes. The fact that they are fighters, they're professional fighters, is this is the strongest. This is the best possible approach for them. They want this too. They want to fight you.
Yes.
So you're back to one die.
Okay.
Does anyone have a friend or contact to provide aid or insight for the operation? Any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight to the operation?
Yes.
Yeah, Broom knows someone.
Broom, who do you know that can help you with this?
My friend Kiara. She kills people for a living.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about her. Is she like an assassin?
Yes.
Okay.
She does things a little more discreetly than I generally do, which is why our jobs don't overlap, and I don't.
So how can your discreet assassin friend assist you in winning a street brawl?
If things are going bad, discreet assassin friend, blows a dart at somebody.
Well, I mean, she's not going to participate. That's listen, she's your friend, but not like, no, she's not that good of a friend.
Maybe she has some cool poisons on hand that I can use.
She can help you
I have a
cheat.
thought. I have a thought. She also knows how all these people fight because she's like them.
Yeah.
She's a
So
professional.
give you some insight into
she's
a
like,
different kind of fighting.
into what their style is.
Yeah, I'm a
like,
little bit more fist of fury.
I love that this plan fits right into your reputation as being honorable too, because you're just like,
yeah, we just have to
come on
take
out.
it
We know what you want. Let's just do this thing.
I feel like also a friend that we may have that may be helpful for this, our ward boss friend, from the gang. We have a person, don't we?
Takara. who's the
Yeah,
ward boss,
Takara, the ward
who's
boss.
One of the Irajin.
Yeah, like the Irajin are involved.
Yeah, they don't really want to be involved though. Like this is the trick. Like, and we can flash back or like make this part of the plan. But like your little petty brawl with these you're both all below their radar.
True.
So they're not gonna help you. They're not gonna be like, oh, you're getting in a street fight with these guys. Yeah, definitely. Let's help.
But we are at +3 status with them.
But yes, you're at +3. So they can, if you're fighting in the market or whatever, they can make sure to like try to keep the cops away from you while this fight happens. And
Yeah,
they'll
I think
make
that's
it
the
easier,
thing, right?
but they're not gonna like commit.
They're not gonna come in.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's what I was saying. Like, I don't want them to commit troops. I want them to
so-
keep everybody else the fuck away.
Let us have our 1v1 against these guys, right? Like we want.
Okay,
to prove
so that's
we're
so for
badass.
them it's an extra die. Are there any enemies or rivals interfering in the operation? I mean, the only other like enemies or rivals you have are the Atahim, right? These former soldiers.
And
I
are they
don't-
allied with the Falling Star?
I don't think
School?
so. I think
No.
that they're a separate thing. Because again, the Atahim are much bigger. They have a problem with you because they have a problem with the ward boss because they have a problem with the Irajin, right?
Irajin,
So it's all they don't. Again, they're probably like, oh, those three, like, and their friends. They're just assholes we don't like. But they don't
We're
know
known
any.
as being like low-level enforcers for this broader organization. We're seen as part of this. Bigger
So
thing.
you got 2 dice. Are there any other elements you want to consider? I mean, they're higher tier than you, so I feel like that's a factor.
But they don't have all their nice weapons.
But they don't have their nice weapons. But you're gonna get bonuses for that anyway. Like,
No,
What about the hunting ground stuff?
Again, it's not your turf. It's someone else's
But-
turf.
It's not our turf, but these are streets we know. Like, if it comes to like having like territorial advantage, it doesn't have to be territory we own. We're very, very familiar with this. Like, ducking behind
layout,
a stall, knowing where to kick something that will fall directly in this direction because we've kicked that thing
Who
before. and it's
who
fallen
among
down
these
before.
people brews hot liquid we can throw?
I
you
also
know?
feel like that stuff will come up in the rolls. I think for the engagement
Yeah,
roll,
all right.
Okay.
we're probably. I think we're just.
I'm cool with a 2-die engagement
Yeah.
roll.
Yeah, I think a 2 die is
Totally
is
fine.
fine because they're
Let's do
bigger.
it.
They're bigger than you, but you're you're kind of setting the stage for the fight.
All right, I'm
Yeah,
I'm
we're
throwing
doing this
it.
on our own terms, right?
Okay, so
I'll throw a fortune die here.
okay, so you gotta roll a die with an extra.
6.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Boom!
So it's a
Scram!
good result. You're in a controlled position when the action starts. You're gonna have a good eye on like where they're coming from, and they're not gonna like jump out. It'll pretty much be the brawl you're looking for, at least initially. So yeah, so you start in a great position. Let's take a quick break here, and when we get back, let's have a fight. Let's have a big street fight for like the next hour.
Hell yes.
Yeah, get your action movie on. Just go Google your favorite kung fu fight scene, and we'll come back and we'll see how it goes. Stick around. We got more Blades in the Dark when we get back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our very special one night only Brawl in the Bazaar. Let's see how this goes. There's going to be a terrible fight, and there's going to be punching and kicking and bloodshed, and it's going to be nasty. And I, for one, am super excited to see how that goes. So you have a great setup. Your engagement role here is fantastic. So I guess we start in all this, we start at the beginning of the fight, or at the beginning, and then we can jump back to things you've set up to put you in this position. But for right now, I think it's just like dawn, right? It's the opening. We probably fade in on the well, the covering of the well, these like white hot metal plates that are steaming in the relative darkness, and they start to open very slowly, letting the strange unearthly fire within begin to like lick at their edges and leap forth, casting light first in the vicinity of the well, and then gradually more and more over the city. And so this kind of unholy dawn falls on the marketplace, and we see the group of you. I guess waiting for your new friends to show up. What do we see? What's the situation?
A falling star, come out and play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like the two of you are like having coffee at a little table or something.
Yeah, I imagine
like there's one business that opens before all the other businesses, and that's the one that caffeinates the people opening their businesses. So we're sitting there. What's his name?
Kotar.
Kotar is like looking, really sleepy and also kind of scared because we've probably been like, it's fine. We're handling this today.
It's like when the mob tells you everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, and he was probably like, please, no, I want to go. I don't want to be here, please.
No, you have good coffee.
It's like the lady says, coffee's good.
And so, like, it's sitting there drinking his coffee, not intending to pay for it, waiting for the falling star to walk right into our traps.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Eloni is notably absent, but like the gang is there hanging out.
Yeah.
Eloni's on some rooftop somewhere because I'm gonna pull some shenanigans.
Yeah, no, there aren't any roofs in the market, so you might be a little further away, but we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Like where you got yourself set up. Because the market is mostly like open like tents and what have you, maybe a few wooden stalls, but yeah, okay. And so we see approaching you then through the morning haze, we see a gang of falling star style Eruvian sword adepts. They're all dressed in their school uniforms. Basically, they have this kind of dark blue, like this indigo kind of like loose like tunic thing that they wear that extends down to their knees, and then they have like flat soled sort of shoes, and all of them have a silk sash that some of them have worn around their waist, some around their or some across their chest. Some of them are walking like spinning them because they're weighted on one end. They're like very long scarves that are weighted at the tips, and this is they're part of their fighting style. They all, of course, have swords. Now they don't have the swords they wish they had, but then this fight wouldn't be occurring if they did. And so yeah, they're stalking towards you, looking not angry but focused, like ready.
I think this is the point where, like, if we can see them coming and they're within shouting distance, sort of thing, which I imagine they probably are. This is the point where I put down my little, coffee and stand up and walk out of the stall into the street, and just go, "Nice to see you made it. Now, ground rules," and then whatever Andrew's gonna do.
Yeah. So like we hear your character talking as if at a distance because now we're in some different part of the market and we see the little antenna like peeking up over some stall or whatever as my like you hear like little twitching and clicking as it's moving. Oh, we haven't declared load. We all need to declare load.
Let's have you do that.
Medium.
Okay.
I'm gonna go normal for my load as well.
How'd you do?
So load is one of three things.
Mhm.
It is light, normal, or heavy.
Mhm.
And it determines like how your character looks in terms of what they're carrying and how much you can carry. So like light load means that you look like a regular civilian and you've got only a small amount of items. Normal is sort of like you got a weapon on you, it's visible, you're geared up a little bit, but like it's not necessarily super unusual. And heavy is like you're wearing armored clothes and you have some kind of cannon with you, like
Both normal
Okay.
and heavy make you obviously like a criminal or
Yeah.
a scoundrel of some kind. Heavy is enough to slow you down. Normal is not.
So we have
heavy also gives you
two-
more armor though.
we have 2 freeload of weapons or armor
Yeah.
with Bravo's rigging. So normal plus those 2 free
Yeah, it
is
would be
fairly
7.
well
It's-
equipped.
That's
It's
7.
even overkill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And
I'm
then
just gonna be-
anything in italics doesn't count towards your load total. So like my trained hunting pet
And
and
you don't have to pick all these now. You just know how many things you have and you can declare them.
Okay,
You
yeah.
basically declare that you're pulling a thing out, and then you have that retroactively through
Yeah.
having.
it all exists in
Okay.
a state of potential until you need to use it.
All right. Sounds good.
And so yeah, we see the little like thing, there's like a little chittering sound, and then we flash back to even earlier in the morning when Aloni is out here in the like pitch
I was
blackness.
gonna say so nighttime then.
Yeah. Instead of at dawn, right? So it's pitch black, and I'm walking around like flipping over, like kicking at stones, like at some of the cobbles and like flipping them over, being like, oh, this one won't do, and like putting them back. And then there's a cut and I'm like running some like wire from one thing to another, and then it cuts again and I'm like doing some other stuff, and it's just like I'm setting up this like range of booby traps here. And so for the score, I'm going to take up 2 load for my demolition tools. And yeah, like Aloni is like whistling little like tunes as they're doing all this and like rigging all this bullshit up. And then we cut back to present, and just like part of the street just fucking explodes out from under these people.
Okay,
Yeah.
did you tell your gang about this? That you were gonna like lure them here and then blow them up with bombs? Because they're not gonna be happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm blowing up the whole fucking.
No, but I mean, well, and this is an opportunity for us to show your cohort, I think, would have agreed to a fair fight with tough foes, but it's a little underhanded to like lure them in and blow them up with bombs.
Yeah, Aloni doesn't get it in the way that maybe the others do, right? Because I'm not from around here. I'm just like, yeah, these people wanna fuck
Did
us
you
up.
tell us, like me and
No.
Vroom?
No.
Okay.
You just said you said you were gonna make it ready.
Yeah, I was like, at some point the night before, I was just like, I have to go get something ready, and I just like left without saying anything.
Okay.
Yeah, from our lair, which is like my family's old closed down shop.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
I also think blowing up any part of the market's not going to make everyone's going to be mad at you for this. Everyone on Earth, but everyone that uses this market for anything is going to be like, okay.
and like
I
say,
mean, we're
it's
not
like
talking about
massive
large scale explosions,
explosion.
right?
It's like pretty small scale.
Yeah.
In terms of like part.
I mean,
of the
well, we'll
street
see. Let's
rushing up.
have you roll. I think setting up explosives is probably like not an insignificant flashback.
Oh yeah, totally.
I
Like
think
I'm booby
if
trapping.
anything, you had to stay up all night doing it. You didn't get enough, like you didn't get much rest the night before. So
totally.
I
Yeah.
think for this flashback, complex action or unlikely opportunity, I don't think it counts as 2 or more stress. I think 1 stress is probably reasonable to stay up all night. The thing is too is that no, you know what? The thing
I'd
is
pay 2 for this.
this is 2 because it's not like the market. It doesn't go to sleep at night. They don't close. It's up all the time. So
Yeah.
there is a degree of trying to be like not noticed doing this.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is too, it's not all like things blowing up. It's also like a bunch of tripwires like lift up off the ground and are suddenly like there. And so there's like this little like danger zone that they end up getting tangled up
Stuck in, yeah.
Okay, well let's have you roll rec and see how it
And
goes.
so yeah, we'll roll rec.
I think
Now, do I get to roll controlled because of our engagement roll being good, or is it still going to be risky?
I was gonna go for desperate because it's explosives, but I think we can.
We'll dial it back to risky.
We'll dial it
then?
back to risky. I think risky is reasonable.
Great. What is my effect here, Adam?
They're definitely not expecting it.
No, it's true. And if you just want to like kill some of them, I think it's
If it were like one or two people, I would lobby for great effect. But because it's a larger scale
Yeah.
than just me,
yeah, there's
it's
lots
like,
of them.
There's
Okay.
lots of them. So, but can I like hit them at even footing
Yeah,
at standard
yeah.
effect? Yeah, which is a big deal because this is like a gank of people. Cool. I will push myself for a bonus die, and this seems like a. Actually, no, sorry. Before I push myself for a bonus
Would
die,
you like a devil's bargain?
please offer me some devil's bargains.
What?
You know I'll say yes.
So, Blizz, there's a mechanic called Devil's Bargains
Uh-huh.
where you can ask the GM or anyone
Anyone.
at the
Anyone
table
can put them
to
forward.
posit a negative that will come with what you do, but you get an extra die.
Okay.
And it's never like a thing that removes your success or whatever.
But
it's
it
like some
complicates it. You know,
unrelated bad
it could be like for this one of those falling stars is a person you know, or related to a person you know.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, I think the devil's bargain here is you're making it harder for your gang to do what you told them you were all here to do, right? Like now the ground is all fucked up and they're going to be hesitant because maybe there's some more traps they don't know about. So, yeah, I think the idea here is that it takes everyone by surprise. And if you succeed, only hurts
Including my
them.
people.
But even
Yeah.
your people are like, what the fuck is going on? And they hesitate or flinch in some way.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's really appropriate.
Yeah.
And yeah, that
Because you didn't tell them. And
Broom's gonna have to like whip people into shape about this and force them to fight, whereas before they would have been keen to do it on their own.
I don't force people to do anything.
They just
I do.
They just do it.
fall around you. Okay, so I get a
They just do it.
yeah,
Okay.
so I get a 5 at him.
all right. So not perfect, but
It's a success.
but it is a success. Yep. So like a 6 would have been like highly advantageous, but I think what happens here is that you cause chaos. Most of that chaos falls on the shoulders of the falling star, but it's chaos nonetheless. So yeah, maybe it's not entirely as controlled as you had hoped, or just like it didn't go off exactly the way you wanted. But they scatter, right? Like you blow it up. A couple of them are caught in the shrapnel from the ground where you laid the bombs. Some of them like sort of stumble over each other. They're all deeply personally hurt because they came here expecting a sword fight. They're used to rumbling with like other sword schools where they
Yeah.
duel, and you are fighting like this is
Dirty.
mean. You're fighting dirty, and they're not about
Yeah.
that.
So I'm a nope you out here, Adam.
Mhm.
As a consequence, I'm gonna resist that.
Okay.
And the way I'm going to resist that is that like these people who try to like scatter and get out of my zone of mayhem,
Mhm.
they quickly find that that's where the tripwires are and stuff. So
Yeah.
as soon as they try to run, they start getting like tripped up and it's all messed up. So I'm going to resist. Is it fair to say with insight?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that's the only real choice.
It's the applicable one here. Cool.
So when something like that happens, like when when I describe a bad thing happening to you, you can be like, I feel like I could resist it by doing this thing, and then we can, and if you're in a position,
And then
to
there's
resist,
a resist roll.
and
Yeah.
then there's a roll, yeah.
Okay.
and so I take 1 extra stress to resist it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So-
So like
So they go from ground zero to ground zero part 2, and they end up So you've got them not trapped or cornered, but like
thoroughly off their off
I
their footing.
just love the idea that this scene that you've just set is me stepping out on the street and going, okay, ground rules. Bang!
Boom.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's actually so perfect that that's what you said.
So
yeah.
there's like
Excellent.
ringing in your ears. People have scattered. You're gonna have to have a long and complicated conversation with the Irajin later about this, because this is not what they agreed to help with. But I think we cut to Broom, and Broom, like there's a ringing in your ears. One of the other guys near you, one of your thugs, is like holding his head and is like blood dripping out of his nose, like he got hit in the head with a piece of shrapnel. And he looks at you and he says something you don't quite make out. What do you do? What are you doing? Because the fight has started, maybe, or like
yeah.
a
Something's
meteor has
happened.
landed in the market. You're not really sure what happened.
And so like I was sipping coffee before this happened. I was very casually like sitting at this table sipping coffee, and I like slowly set the cup down very intentionally, like her eyes a little glazed, and I stand up and I brush some like dirt or soot off of my tunic. I turn to Qatar and I say, "Thank you again for the coffee. Perhaps now would be a good time to leave."
He's hiding under a table with his hands over his ears, praying and shaking his head.
And
Yeah,
then
like, people are assuming some kind of like supernatural occurrence.
Something horrible has happened.
yeah, and then I turn
Broom is my
to
favorite.
and then I turn to our thugs and I say, "We should learn to expect these things from Salt. Let us go. We will talk to them later." And like basically saying like, "I get it. This wasn't cool, but we still have to do the fighting."
How well do you, Broom, know the members of the Falling Star Fight Club? Like, would you recognize individual members, or are they just all kind of like?
They're just all, live, darty little stabby mosquito guys.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like they're
Broom is the
mosquitoes.
best.
They're like a swarm of gnats that Broom doesn't bother to acknowledge.
Okay, Broom. So you look up, then you don't have any context for this person. You don't know who this is.
Yeah.
But you look up and you can see, like, I don't think I guess you have two problems to deal with here, right? That they have discipline, these guys. And yes, they walked into a trap, and yes, they're pissed about it, but they are recovering quite quickly. You have the opportunity to leap on it, but also your guys don't really know, like, what to do right now. They need someone to like push them around and be like, "Come on, we're gonna go fight them."
Okay. Would this be an instance where I could like command my thugs to go do their shit?
So that's your choice, right? You can personally take advantage of the moment of chaos yourself, or you can be like, "Get your shit together, let's go." But they're gonna be more prepared.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, I definitely think that like with my character's background, working as part of a group is what they're used to, and also like,
And I
this
guess
is what
I guess the way for me to kind of like track the progress of this battle is just to start a clock. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So give me. a
Bleach,
second here.
you have that savage move though, right?
I do. Yes.
So if you commit violence and then command them, you'll have advantage, right?
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's true.
You'll
I
have
do.
like more
So-
dice. Just a thought. Just a thought.
But I mean, Adam just said that like this is a person that I don't recognize as being.
You see a target nearby, right? You see somebody
Okay,
like
so it's
brush.
definitely
They
they're
brush
wearing
their
the
brush their cloak
colored-
off. Yeah. They're all dressed for this fight, right? Like there's no
Okay.
way. Like this is not a tactic that they wouldn't like plain close it and then secretly jump out and stab you.
Right. Okay. So
Um,
I actually, yeah, Elf is right. I have the move Savage. When I unleash physical violence, it's especially frightening. When you command a frightened target, I take +1.
Okay.
So I can do the whooping on and then the commanding.
Okay, so you see one of these these duelists brush their shoulder off of rubble, look at you, sneer. We get the like diagonal crosscut on the screen of the two of your faces, and then she like flips her head, and her hair comes like loose, undoing the scarf, and she grabs it in one hand and starts spinning it around, and like starts stalking towards you.
Can I do the Indiana Jones thing and whip out a pistol and just shoot her in the face?
Oh God, yeah, but that's gonna make the gang thing worse. Like that's really, really shitty to do. To like call them out to a sword fight, then blow them up and shoot them. Like
I never said it was a sword fight.
that was the premise. Your gang is not going to look kindly on that. You're gonna exacerbate the problem.
Because
but that's
actually, sorry, it bears mentioning, which I don't think we went over, is that though our cohort is fearsome, they are also principled.
yes.
Yeah.
So to them, this is actually a matter of their honor. that
Yeah,
we
right now they're confused, but if
So the
their
premise
if their fight leader draws a gun and starts shooting someone who obviously wants a sword fight, they're going to be like, "Oh, you're besmirching
They have
our
a-
rep as
They
part of
have
your
a
crew."
scarf. It's not a sword.
You can still make that choice. You can still
But
just
also,
No.
Blue Jay, you want to scare the shit out of them and frighten command the thugs to do what you want? Shoot that motherfucker. They'll be like, "What the hell is going on?" Right?
Or just like grab the scarf in one hand and run this person
Yeah,
through.
or you could actually go
like,
fight.
Oh
various
yeah. I like that idea. I like the idea of like, regardless of like twirling scarf, I just walk very slowly forward, like reach out to like just take it. Like it maybe it like hits me and I just like grab it.
Well, she's not attacking you with it. She's gonna like try to like tangle you up and then stab you. She has a sword. She just hasn't drawn it yet.
This works the same way, just the
But
same.
yeah,
Grab the
it's
scarf
just
and
like
punch
whatever.
the
You have
lady.
fancy fighting, cool. I'm just gonna like gut you in the street and we'll move on.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I guess that's what I'd be going for, is the like, to done with this like fancy scarf thing. I have your sword and I'm running it through you.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
If it's possible.
It's skirmish. You're gonna.
Yeah,
you're gonna be
I think
making
it's
a
a, I think it's
skirmish
a skirmish.
roll.
Okay.
Although that is up to you. What you're
No,
what you
it's
choose to roll.
definitely like I'm.
That's what you want
good.
it to be. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And so you start with 3 dice.
Uh-huh.
Your position for this is not great. Like 1v1ing a professional duelist is I mean, you're tough and stuff, but that's why you're gonna need to roll well to do this. So I think
Okay.
this is a desperate action.
Okay.
And for
Trying to look
regular effect.
Remember that if you want an extra die, you can push yourself for 2 stress, or you can ask for a devil's bargain, or I can help for 1 stress
help is
and give
allowed
you a
also.
die.
How would I indicate that a die has been given?
Well, it depends. Are you asking for help?
How
I mean,
would
I don't
you-
think I want help. I've got.
No,
All right. So
I'm
you just
trying
do you want to push yourself for an extra die?
Yeah.
Okay.
because you
I'm
basically
trying
need
to-
a
I'm-
6 to come out of it consequence free, right?
I'm trying to like show these guys, like I'm trying to show my gang that like regardless of the explosions, we still have fighting to do.
Hell yes.
And I'm trying to show this person the pointy end of my knife.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta find sword, right?
Yes, I do, because we took it from them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
so this lets us be on even footing with what is otherwise a very nasty.
So do I
organization.
still fill it in with desperate and standard?
Yes. Yeah. It's still a desperate standard action.
And
Yes. Yeah, because what's going on with the fine weapons, right? So is that we're at tier 0, your fine weapon bumps you up 1 tier, and then our weapon upgrade bumps you up another. So you
Mhm.
actually get to have standard effect against this person. Whereas
Okay.
otherwise you might be at limited or even no effect.
so this is a fine hand weapon that I have.
Yes. Yeah. It's a.
And
it's
then
a
I have
fine sword.
2 stress I just took.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're taking an extra die.
And I take an extra die, and then I just hope for the best.
Then you roll
Got a
5.
Boy. All right.
Um,
I mean,
So because it's a desperate roll, you mark XP in
Mhm.
prowess as well.
In prowess, yeah.
in prowess. Okay.
yeah. So you mark XP. Yeah. So I think. I think the result here, because it is fundamentally a success, but there's a cost. There's some small cost. I think I mean, you're fighting a swordsman. You get hurt, right? You get hurt in a fight. So you come in, and your plan here is just to brute force it, right?
Uh-huh.
But their shtick is all like judo bullshit, right? So, I mean, your initial attempt to like grab the scarf, that's kind of what she wants, and she like wraps the scarf around your arm, pulls you off balance, takes a couple of like slashes at you. And then how do you like you kill this person, but what does that look like? So
Yeah,
she,
so she-
initially you like stumble, you fall or fumble a little bit, you underestimate how easy this is going to be, but then you get what you want. So what does that look like?
Yeah, she does. She like wraps the scarf around my hand and like yanks on it really hard, pulls me off balance, and gets through my like defense. But I have a sword as well, and I'm not like as good as she is, but I'm good enough. So one of my hands is like wrapped up in this thing, and like I like parry like 2 of the blows, but one of them gets through, and then I just like stare at her, grit my teeth, and like bellow and like pull the scarf,
Yeah.
and then like with another like movement, just like run it through her gut.
Okay.
So you just counter pull her off balance, like
Yeah,
stab her in the
I'm
gut.
just like, you might be like all full of finesse, but I am stronger than you, and that means something. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you're gonna take a wound.
Where do I put that?
Now you have armor. Do you want to take? You want to be wearing armor? I guess is the question.
You can choose to be like, and I have armor, so the blade bounces
Yeah,
off.
What level of harm is this, Adam?
Yeah.
It's a 5, so just 1.
Yeah, so you can basically make it nothing with armor.
You can make it nothing with armor, or you can roll to resist.
Or you can resist it.
So the armor costs
2.
load, and resisting costs stress. So that's a matter of.
And the fine weapon was 1 hand weapon.
Yeah. So on the character sheet, if they're connected, like if you want to wear armor, it's 2 boxes of your.
Okay,
You have to
I
click
get
both. Yeah, if they're connected like that.
it makes sense to me that I'm accustomed to taking blows, and I would wear something to protect myself from it.
Okay.
So yeah, I was
mark
wearing
those.
armor.
All right. So yeah, she did actually manage to stab you. And then maybe we see you, put your hand to your chest or something, comes away clean, and we can see your armor through the like slash in your shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, lying on the ground.
And I
About
turn to our thugs, and I'm just like, I touch it. I'm like, always plan ahead.
Okay. So you
Because
want
obviously they didn't have the armor, or else,
Yeah. So you
And
want to
like-
try to rally them or get them fighting because they see you. You've started the fight in the way that they kind of expected the fight to start in the 1st place.
Yeah, that's the whole point, is that like I was basically taking the lead, indicating that like this is what we're here to do. Do it.
So that's a command then, right?
Elsewise you will get the sword to the gut.
Well,
And
I
I
guess-
love that, like,
I guess
while
that's
this
the
is happening,
question.
The guy is sliding off of your sword. She's like sliding off your sword to the ground. There's this like slump of the body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't think they're frightened of you because it doesn't seem to me like that's what you want. But if you want them to be frightened of you, we can play it that way. They'll have different ramifications.
I don't think I want them to be frightened of me, regardless of the move.
Okay. Now this is something that it makes sense for Silk to help with, right?
Yeah.
Um,
It's at this point after you're going like, always plan ahead, and like stretching a little bit, and
Uh-huh.
like the body falls off your sword, and you hear my voice through the like dust a little bit of this explosion still settling from behind the line of thugs, like people have moved up in front of me, sort of thing.
Mhm.
And you hear my voice, and I say, now we can get the party started properly. Let's go, boys, girls, everyone, go. Get in there. Kill them. Like, fucking get them. I don't have command.
I mean,
But-
I have command, and you were supposed to be helping me. Yeah.
That's what I'll do.
Everyone's listening to Broom, and Silk is just like the cheerleader, being
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, go get him."
It's like I stand there and I do the like always prepared, and like
So
they're
I take a stress to help.
they're looking at me, and then you do like, yeah, duh, 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 and they're still looking at me, and I'm like, this is our job.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's me. That's me like commanding them, like, go do your job.
okay. So yeah, they draw. Now, do they have the like fine weapons as well, or they're only enough for you?
What was
They
the
don't have. We didn't do the upgrade where they're like elite,
Elite, yeah.
thugs. So
Okay,
they
all
probably.
right. So they're. You make it look
Well-
easy. They're about to come face to face with the grim truth that they're scrappers and these people are fighters. Now they're motivated, and you're PCs, so it's helpful. But we'll see how they do.
I feel like Adam probably, because of like how the crew sheet works and stuff, like technically they have the weapons, but like it doesn't help them in the same way that it would help us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I think it's risky, but with limited effect. They just without the weapons to give them that edge. Yeah, it's a risky with limited effect command.
Hit it up, Luge.
okay, risky with limited
risky
effect?
limited with 1 help die.
4.
Okay. All right.
Still technically a success.
Yeah, you do it, but
Question mark.
but yeah, so you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, you have reduced effect, you end up in a desperate position. So yeah, I mean, are you fighting alongside them? Do you like run in?
Of course.
Okay. How does just so we're aware, how does armor once you've used it, does it you
It's
can only
gone.
use it
It's
once,
one
right?
use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I think that's the thing, right? Is that you lead them from the front, you dive into battle, and this is where we get the big like first kind of group shot of everybody fighting. You know, scarves whipping, swords clashing, blood spilling in the dusty streets, and so you're running the risk of taking a hit here. So there are more of them, and they fight well, and I think that your group your cohort doesn't really have your back. They're fighting alongside you, so you're fighting on your own. So I think you rush in, you start fighting with one, you match swords with them. I think that he gets up close, and he's like pushing on you with his sword, and you're pushing against his. In his eyes, you see them like flick to the sword, and he's like, "Cursed gutter trash! You don't deserve to wield that blade." And he pushes you back. And his friend is right behind you, and he whips his scarf around your neck and like stabs you in the chest a bunch of times. So what do you you get stabbed in the chest. It hurts really bad.
Yeah, it sounds like it would hurt.
Yeah, you're outnumbered and you're getting stabbed, and they're angry.
Mechanically, how much harm? Like, what harm is that?
I think this is you got a 4, so it's not like it's just another 1. You're wriggling and you're tough and stuff, so it's not like he's not Julius Caesaring you. Like you have, it's still a fight, but you're looking at 1 harm.
So you can choose to resist it with prowess, probably.
What does that? So does the harm go under trauma, or
it's under stress? There's the 3, 2, and 1 like harm.
Okay, got it. So,
but you can either choose to take harm, like 1 harm, stabbed, or you could resist and chance taking a lot of stress, right? Like because you resist, and then what you roll, it's that off of 6, right?
I'll resist it. I think that this is like I'm a brawler. I'm gonna push through it and like tend to the wounds afterward.
Okay.
Like, so I just click on prowess.
Yeah, click on prowess.
And then no bonus die.
No.
Guys, I'm really scared of Broom. Broom is a scary thing.
So you take 3 stress because it's 6 minus the highest die result.
Great. I'm glad I got all 3s.
So it's stressful, but you don't bleed your own blood. So
the reason you don't want to take the harm, side note, like mechanically, is because you lose effect levels having more harm, or you lose die if you're on like 2 harm.
Yeah.
For example.
And if you stress out, if you take 4 more stress, then you're knocked out of the fight and you take a trauma.
Yeah.
Which in my personal opinion is super fun to have. I love
having
trauma.
Having one after the first session is really useful. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, trust me. As someone who's been unstable for a long time, it's great. It's really great.
That's a great phrase right there. As someone who's been unstable for a long time.
That describes every character I've ever played.
Yeah, you started with unstable. All right, so how do you resist? It's stressful, but you don't get stabbed. You have a guy who you're clashing swords with. He pushes you back into his friend, who snaps the scarf around your neck, and then uses that as leverage to kind of like pick you up a little bit off your feet and just like high speed tries to knife you. But you resist. What does that look like?
Maybe they try and pick me up.
Right. Is that what it is? Or he's just like,
yeah,
like stabs you in the shoulder maybe?
Yeah, it's like they try and use the scarf as leverage, but I'm already like 6'3".
Yeah.
I'm just really big. And so like instead of using the scarf as leverage to pick me up, they just like yank on my neck a lot, which hurts and sucks. But like I just like they probably like their knife like skitters off my collarbone, and I just like jab them in the gut with my elbow and like get them to clear a little.
Yeah, and he staggers back. Yep.
I love Broom. Broom is the best. Okay, she's this huge, scary lady, and it's just everything I love right there. Just
Yep. Okay, so while Broom is like down in the shit, I think that Eloni, you can see that without something like if this continues to be a fair fight, Broom will be okay, but your gang will get cut to shit. They're not. They're gonna lose. They're good fighters, but they're not in a position to win this fight fairly. So when this occurs to you, what would you like to do?
And so, Eloni intends to split up and harry this group of well-trained sword fighters and lead them on a merry little chase through the bazaar. So like, as the kind of general mass of people have been like picking themselves up out of the rubble, and like getting into the fight and stuff, I make my presence known, and try to like bait a bunch of them away.
Oh, okay.
By just like being like loud and like present and loud, and then like slipping away and having them chase me, and I'm gonna lead them on a merry little run where they're gonna get shot, and it's gonna be bad for them.
Okay. And what's the action for
I
this?
feel like this is hunt because I'm essentially it's because I'm doing an ambush on them effectively, or like leading them on a, let's see here. So is it appropriate? Yeah, because it says you might arrange an ambush.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, over here, assholes, and you run off.
Yeah, and I think this is me. Like I pull out pistols and I start shouting at them, and I like shoot one. Like I try to like shoot him in the leg to just like piss him off, and like I'm being dishonorable and an asshole.
Well, they didn't even bring guns. Like it didn't even
Yeah.
occur to them that you would be such dirty cheaters.
Yeah, and so I'm just like, hey, idiot, and like shoot one in the foot. I'm
Yeah.
like, and the rest of you like the streets, huh?
Yeah, so
And
there's,
I'm
there's a
like,
group of like a half dozen of them, and you see them like stab one of your cohort and shove them aside, and they look up looking for another target, and they see you, and you just shoot one,
yeah,
and he like grabs his chest and falls down in the street, and they're just like, how dare, like you fuck, and they're gonna, maybe you're gonna chase after you.
And I, like,
let's see if
kick
you
a
can.
stray cobblestone like at them and then run.
Yeah.
And I'm just like go like around a corner, and then I'll be waiting with like the other pistol drawn and like shoot another. It's just like
Nice.
this little steeplechase kind of thing.
Yeah, I like it. Okay. So roll hunt. I think standard effect.
Risky.
Risky. Yeah, it's not desperate.
Okay, cool.
Getting out of it if you fail will be desperate, but
And I'm sure Foe is involved too, like springing on some dude as he like rounds the corner and like.
oh yeah, that would be
I, like, shoot the
horrifying.
next one.
Like, hey, that person shot one of us with a gun. Go get him. They'll come around the corner and then demon centipede.
And so yeah, it's just like, yeah, every time they like think they're gonna get me, some other bullshit happens.
Mm-hmm.
Any devil's bargains?
I mean, you didn't set up you didn't set this up in advance, right? Like, I think the devil's bargain is that your ambush spot just ends up being a dead end. Like you get
Like I end up in a dead end.
you end up cornered, and if you don't like ice them, they've got you cornered, and whoever's still alive after the ambush is gonna have the drop.
I will
on you.
take that devil's bargain because that's
Yes.
hilarious and like totally the kind of thing
Yeah.
that Salt would do. Of like, I only need this much space. I'm definitely gonna get all.
They're all gonna be dead by the time I get to there.
It ends in a in a dead end alley, but that's good. That's a controlled. Yeah, they're all about it. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Boom!
There you go.
And so yeah, like one rounds a corner, gets fucking his face et by a giant centipede, and then like the other one comes around to try to save his buddy. He gets shot with the other pistol.
So I think you see this from the outside. We see Silk. You see Eloni jump out and be like, "Hey!" and shoot one and then run. And you maybe hesitate. You watch as they dash away into the bazaar, and then you hear a very familiar scream. You've heard this kind of scream before, and it's the scream of a person who suddenly has a giant demon centipede on them
Yeah.
when they didn't expect it. There's a very particular tenor
I feel like
to this
like
noise.
there's the scream, and then there's a shot of like Silk going like, yeah.
Yeah, right. And so the noise is like, it starts as a shriek of surprise, like, what's happening? And then another more terrified shriek when they realize what's going on. Yeah, exactly. Like, and then like horrifying
And it, like,
shrieking, and then
rips
gunfire.
their eyes out or something. It does. Like the centipede kills them in some horrifying way. It's really awful.
Totally, yeah. It crawls inside their robes, and then their robes become bloodied as the sound of crunching and tearing. Anyway, so that happens. You also shoot at one. Your ambush is successful.
But I end up cornered and
end
like
up-
maybe with like one guy left or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. And I think that's what happens is that there were maybe three of them chased you. One is centipeded. One you shoot.
But then that's it because I only have the two pistols.
But that's
I
it.
can
Yeah,
reload.
exactly. So you realize you're holding two smoking guns, and the guy I was gonna say he like grins and approaches. He's like, "I have you now," but I think like these are students of the school, not the masters. So he's not quite that steeled. He like looks nervously at the person being devoured by the centipede, but is like, "Okay," and like approaches you, with his long dueling knife drawn and his scarf, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna kill this person. And I'm gonna get out of here."
And yeah, Salt's just like, don't worry, for you, I won't use bullets. And I pull out this harpoon gun, which is going to be my unusual weapon.
So
and it,
Holy
you
fuck!
toss us something and say, "What does your harpoon gun look like?"
so it's like the standard, this is like a thing for fighting like Leviathans and shit. And so it has the regular like front-facing spear thing that's like barbed and designed to stick in stuff. That has a spool of rope. And this is like an Akarosi thing that they have. And then out of the area where you like the grip of it, there's a second spike that is also attached to the rope.
Mm-hmm.
And so as they're saying this, they like fire this thing just kind of casually into like this crate, which is tied to a rope, which goes up to a pulley on the roof of this building I'm next to.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then they level it at this guy and fire it. And the thing here is, once I fire this, I kick out a block. The crate flies up because it's on a weight. Because I set this up earlier as a flashback. There's me like.
Well, yeah. Let's do that.
Let's
Do that flashback. I think this one. I don't know that there's a roll necessary, but if you want to have set up this thing,
stress.
Yeah, just take the one stress and like.
I'll take one stress to do this hilarious cool thing. So it's basically like I tether him to this box or this like bundle of cargo, and then it like flies up to the top of this building and just drags him up with it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
like,
I mean, again, depending on where you hit him, right? Like, if this is a solid like body mass shot, yes, the spear thing will go through him and pull him up. But if you get him in the arm or like the leg, we're talking probably like a limb getting ripped off instead.
Yeah,
yeah,
also good, equally excellent.
All right, so you bring your thing to bear, you pull the trigger, but instead of the first, like, 'cause it's got like two triggers, right? So instead of
there's the first trigger where I just casually like,
and we see him wince, like, and then he realizes he hasn't been shot because now the rope is attached to this thing. He looks at that, he looks back at you, and then you pull the other trigger.
And like his eyes go, it's the classic, right? His eyes go wide, and then
and it just wheels out. I mean, go ahead and roll
hunt because it's shooting. Or am I wrecking him?
No, you can't. I don't think you wreck people. I think this is. See, I would go with skirmish because this feels more intimate than hunt. Hunt is meant for like
close enough.
Hunt is meant for sniping.
Hunt is like sniping.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's close enough for skirmish, then great.
But also, you can totally wreck people. You're about to do it.
I mean,
with skirmish. That's what I mean.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Like wreck the other wreck. No.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, I will push myself to get a die of skirmish. And is this risky standard, Adam?
You prepared for it? Yeah, I think risky. Well, so does your unusual weapon fall under the purview of, like, I guess it's not good.
It's not better quality, but
I was gonna say it's not. Yeah, I think it qualifies because it's its own special thing. Like all of your weapons are.
The
right?
unusualness of it as well makes it like effective. Like it's not fighting him in a way that this person is used to.
Yes. Yeah.
So we'll go just risky standard, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I get one bonus die from pushing myself.
You're gonna take the stress to okay.
Yeah, and so I get a 5.
All right.
So it works, but maybe I get some violence directed at me still.
Yeah, I think the thing is you're fighting. Oh no, you know what it is? You're in an alley outside the bazaar, right? Like if there's like a little warehouse, you've left the Irigene's protected area, right? So I think what happens is there's a woman watching like nervously from a window up above, and when she sees this happen, and she's been watching, and you look up as you watch him get dragged off his feet and it's like hanging from a fucking harpoon. I think she like shouts for help. And in response, somewhere nearby, you hear like an alarm bell start to ring. Like somebody is at a public, like there are probably posts where someone can ring a bell to call for the Gualim. So
I have to evade the Gualim now.
Someone has called the cops to show up because nobody paid her off. Nobody was like, no, look the other way. So, yeah. So there's the popo are on the way.
That's some heat
Spooky
right
demon
there.
Cops are on your tail.
Yeah. No. Here's what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna resist that, and the
Okay.
way I'm gonna resist it is that my hunting pet is Arrow Swift,
Oh,
and so
Jesus.
it's as soon as she's about to scream,
Right. So we rewind to her being like,
as soon as she takes, it's just there, like
Ah!
right next to her face, like
climbing
trained
into her
not to
mouth.
kill- no, it's trained not to kill people I don't want it to kill, but it's just like right there, right in front of her, and it's just like.
Okay. Well, like, yeah. Let's have you
Let's-
let's have you resist here.
But essentially, I'm just intimidating the crap out of this person.
Can I devil's bargain you on a resist?
No.
No.
I don't think it's kosher.
Okay, because I have a thought, but
I
Um,
mean,
Just do it anyway.
yeah. What's your thought?
well, I
I'm
was just gonna say
interested.
that it does like it does kill her, right? That it like you're like don't kill anybody, but it can't tell, right? Like it's smart, but it's not like the danger is that it shuts her up too hard. But since I can't offer you the die, I think this is just about you resisting, and she like screams and shuts the shutters, right?
Yeah, and so I'm gonna resist with resolve because I think that this is part of the like demonic nature of this thing, that it like comes up to her and it's like it's not just like a natural fear, it's like this gross otherworldly thing. And so I will resist with resolve, if that's okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I only have one die in it, so what could possibly go wrong? Yeah, I
Ooh,
trauma out.
5 stress and you trauma out. Okay. Well.
So the cops don't
Ooh.
come, but this is the end of Salt's involvement in this.
Insults involvement in this.
Already?
Yo, I did a lot, okay? I did a lot with very little. And so yeah, I'm like, Fo, come here. And like I look shaken, and this guy is like swinging from this rope above me, and
Yeah,
I just
and it's not just
He's not dead either.
Yeah, he's not hanging there dryly, right? Like you've punched a hole in his chest. He's hanging alive from the thing and like gurgling, and it's raining blood from his wound, right? He's swinging back and forth, and blood is just like dripping on you and into the alley. It's not good.
yeah, so I'm gonna take the trauma haunted, and I'll see you guys in the next score.
So
It's okay.
meanwhile,
It's okay. You'll get in on the downtime, so it's fine.
Meanwhile, in the actual fight, the gangs, the two gangs are matched in sword combat. But you can see clearly, Silk and Broom, that your
Have any of them?
your team is losing.
Okay, well, we've separated out a bunch of them by now. Like that was like a hunt with like 3 or 4 of them, and like
Yeah, I mean,
There's
I'm not
some
I'm not
engaged.
tracking them, but I would say that like they're down to about half, but each one of them is worth 2 of your guys for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
So
we- you know,
numerically, you've-
clockwise, we got to be doing pretty okay here.
yeah,
I feel like.
yeah, for sure.
So, are any of them separate from like the large fracas that is happening, so to speak? Because like I don't want to commit to like the crowd of people because I'm not as good a fighter as Broom is. But I would happily match up against like 1 or 2 and maybe try and demoralize them somewhat. Rather.
I mean, I think they're duelists, so it's not like they're used to fighting together. They don't do like team fight.
Yeah, I think what
exercises.
I'm gonna do is like the big fight is happening with our gang.
Here's
and
the
their
thing.
gang
I
and
think
stuff.
by nature you could call one out. So even if there were 2 of them fighting someone, you could like whistle and be like,
Yeah,
Right.
and that's what I'm gonna
1v1
do. Like I walk up behind the fight that's happening and like meet eyes with one of their people, whoever it might be.
So here's my question. Same question I gave Broom. Are you familiar with them as individuals, or would
I
these
think
all
I
just
would
be-
know. I think I would know them better because I would have organized the hit on their stuff.
Yeah.
Which means that knowing them is part of the deal. So like, as the person who organizes things, I probably know them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the one that you spot, you don't know her like real name, but her like fighter name is White Crane, and yeah, she's like an accomplished, like kind of I was gonna say a rising star, but that's
It's like an adept.
she's
sort of
yeah
thing.
yeah she's like kind of a leader among them, and yeah, and you recognize her. You recognize White
So Silk has an interesting weapon because it's not like the curved blade that everybody else has kind of got, like these fancy falling star engraved things, it's like straight. It's arrow straight, the blade, because it's from like this fancy cane that she has with her. Yeah.
So it's less a sword and more like a like a
needle,
dirk or whatever, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Big long knife.
Yeah. And so I kind of like move to the side and sort of beckon this white crane person over with my blade in hand.
Okay. Yeah. So she does like kind of a flourish where she like spins the weighted end of her scarf around so that it drops to a ready position. It's hanging from her fist. And she like kisses the hilt of her blade and sort of like salutes you, and then starts to approach in a low like knife fighter's crouch.
Well, white crane.
She throws a handful of shuriken at you and then rushes you.
The dragon becomes you. But
all right, so she's coming towards you.
So she's coming at me, and I bring my blade up in front of me, but instead of like moving in to fight her, I go like, white crane, it's looking as if you're having a bit of a hard time. Is it really worth it? And I'm gonna try and like sway her or dissuade her in some way, like from the combat in general.
So you want to like get her to ditch.
I want to get her to surrender, like, or bring people to surrender.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a war. There's no surrendering. There's running. Like in a street fight, you bail. You don't take. There's no prisoners to take.
That's what I mean.
The other thing too is that like this fight, outside of the explosion and the horrible massacring that Eloni was doing, I don't think that this is a like fight to the death kind of fight. Like they're not here to exterminate all of you. They just want to prove that you should probably give up and stop bothering them.
Yeah, they want to rough us up and take our stuff.
Yeah. Lots of like maiming, but not, they're not out for blood. So I think there's in the middle of a fight, the duelist, I think she's got her honor to like, this is desperate. You can do it, but it's a desperate position for sure.
And just for color, this conversation is happening while you're sword fighting, right? Like you're carrying. And...
White crane, is it really worth it?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't really think you want to do this. Tink. Like,
yeah, and she's a better sword fighter than you, so that's why it's desperate. Where it's not
everybody in this fight is a better sword fighter than me.
It's not like if she were fighting Broom, where Broom would be like, "This is a stupid idea," bang, knocking her sword out of the way. You're the one having to like backstep and stuff. So. Yeah, it's definitely desperate, but you can make the roll, sure.
If it doesn't work, I'll just be like, look behind you and hope that works.
What's that?
Look behind you, Broom smashes her with a
Look, it's the rising moon.
All right, so I'm gonna call that a sway, a desperate sway. I'm
yes.
all right with that. So desperate limited, I guess.
Yeah, because I think. The best you're going to get out of this isn't going to be like her throwing... She's not going to... Even on a crit, she won't be like, I quit, I give up forever. She'll probably just be like, you're not worth it. We'll settle
All I
this
need
later.
is for her to hesitate for a second.
Yeah, I think more than likely, you're going to put the thought in her head that maybe they might lose. Because that is just off the table for her right now.
Yeah, okay.
If you really throw it, she's going to stab you.
So bonus die. Devil's Bargain?
I can't think of one. I don't know.
I mean,
if anybody
being
else has
stabbed is a devil's bargain for this.
I mean, I
feel like being stabbed is a consequence.
Stabbing is the consequence.
Extra stabbing could come up as a devil's bargain thing, but
I don't think so, because the devil's bargain is like you take a bad thing in order to succeed, and if you let her stab you,
I've got a devil's
she'll stab
bargain.
you again. What is your
devil's bargain for you is that you get disarmed.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, she like knocks your sword out of your hand while this is happening. And so if it goes well, great, you still don't have a sword. If it goes badly, you don't have a sword.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Jesus.
Okay, so you get your
5.
extra devil's bargain. Okay. All right. So 5 on a desperate roll. You do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer severe harm, a serious complication occurs. You have reduced effect, and you're already limited effect. So
Disarmed or like elf style disarmed, says chat.
yeah, exactly. Cuts your Achilles tendon. Yeah, I mean, I think this is like the severe harm, and I think it's less. You know what? Let's go with what we were talking about before. I think I think it's not she knocks your cane out of the way, your sword cane out of the way,
Yeah.
and then lunges in with an attack that anyone who knows how to fight with a sword would parry it. Like, she almost doesn't intend to run you through because she thinks you're gonna like block, but you don't because you're not a professional sword fighter, and she just jams her sword into your chest. And the look on her face is like, oh, fuck. Like, I did not mean to, like, she almost like apologizes because she doesn't mean to run you through. She didn't want to kill you. She just like,
wanted to humiliate
oh,
you.
fuck. Like, she was trying to intimidate you. And that's what makes her, like, realize like, oh, whoa, this is like a big deal. This is very serious.
Yeah.
Like they're used to fighting each other and
Yeah,
not
like-
actually fighting.
Yeah, like
Or
a rising,
other sword schools.
they have,
you
yeah,
know?
them in the Rising Moon, they have, sometimes people get killed in duels, but like, it's not about that usually. And this is them fighting like a street gang, and they kind of thought the rules would be different for them and for you. And she doesn't, White Crane stabs you in the chest. And
Okay, how much harm?
I mean, you're not, it's desperate and limited, and you're trying to talk a professional sword fighter out of sword fighting you. I feel like she kills you. Like, I feel like
a
this
three,
is like
a damn 3 harm.
3 harm. Yeah.
Or a 4 harm would be you're dead
Like
unless you
lethal,
resist.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think, I think because it was an accident, we're not looking at 4, but this is 3 harm for sure.
First off, armor.
Mhm.
So at the very least, that reduces it to 2, I think.
Okay.
And
yeah.
then
Look, it
I
wouldn't-
was reviewing the rules for this elf, and you have to choose to either resist it by resisting it or resisting it with armor. Armor is the more reliable of the two in terms of like, well, like they both always work, but like armor reduces better usually than resisting.
it reduces better, so it could reduce it less or more than just one.
At
thing,
Adam's
or-
discretion, depending
Okay,
on the
so
type of
that-
harm, etc., etc. So, yeah.
All right. Well,
if you wanna avoid-
armor. We'll see what happens. How well does my armor protect me from this penetrating sword attack?
It's one level of reduction, right? Is that how that works?
It is at your discretion.
It's at your discretion. The minimum is 1. You can make it more if you think that.
No,
This
I mean it
thing
slows the blade a little, but you still get stabbed.
All right, so I take
Yeah.
2 harm. I take 2 harm. Stabbed.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Stabbed. Put that in there. But I'm not done yet.
Yeah, right. Because she hesitates. You get what you want. You got that
Well,
5.
because her sword is directly in my chest, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you're
I
in that
mean,
you're in that
there's
moment.
armor, but I'm like, bang.
Okay. Fuck. That's awesome. So yeah, there's a moment where she stabs you in the chest and she's like, "Oh god, I didn't mean to like kill you."
It's like from under her feathered cape comes a fucking flintlock pistol into the face of this person.
Right. And so here's the thing is there's a moment here where a better person, which is to say not you, could have like made a friend or like turned her in some way and been like, I forgive you. It's okay. This doesn't have to, no one else has to die. Let's call up this fight, everyone. But instead you're like, nah, blow. Okay.
No, because the
Yeah.
thing is, if she'd given up or like stopped before I got stabbed, I feel like Silk's approach would have been like, okay, we can all stop fighting. But you stabbed me now, so now you have to. The reflexes, you have to die now.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, to skirmish. Let's see how it goes.
Here we go.
It's risky. I think risky. Great effect probably. Because like she's important. I mean, like great effect both in terms of killing her with a gun, but she's important to the fight's morale.
Okay, risky, great, and
I have a devil's bargain to offer,
bargain away, my friend.
which is that we start a clock, like a 4-count clock, and we fill in 2 slices of it, and it's the desertion of our gang
Yeah.
to our dishonorable ways.
I like that.
Done.
Okay. Cool. Because now, not only are you drawing a gun and using it in a fight, which maybe they could look the other way, but now when they have to tell the story of like, oh yeah, we got in a fight with this sword school and we won, they either have to lie or they have to be like, yeah, we only won because we cheated and our leader shot one of them and like there was explosions and they have to look like assholes, so they're gonna be pissed
This
at you.
is why you do not brag.
Yeah. So
Boom, got it.
wow, great effect. You got
Yes.
that 6.
Woo!
Yeah, and you blow her face off. You shoot
That
her
should actually be one less die, though the last die is the one because I have 2 harm. I realize now that it should have been one
Right.
less. The last die is the one, but
Right. I'm super tempted to make you reroll it, but I don't care. It's fine.
all right. Well,
It's fine. It's
I
fine.
can reroll it if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it automatically took the dice off, but yeah, that's the fair thing to do is reroll with the proper
All
dice.
right, fine.
Oh, this is gonna be bad now.
Yeah, now you get like 2 1s.
It's
Oh, no.
definitely
I'm
definitely
real
gonna be
She's
scared.
gonna
bad.
crit this time.
In an alternate universe where you don't
comes.
immediately blow her face off, what happens?
Here it comes.
You immediately blow her face off.
How did I call it? I called it.
What?
Yep. Clack,
Oh my
clack, wow. You
God.
do it with increased effect, and it's already great effect. So, yeah, she is wrecked. All the
She doesn't have a fucking head anymore.
yeah. So
Oh my
everyone
God.
suddenly there's this like blam, and everybody stops to look, and they're just so like taken aback, like holy shit, these people mean business.
I feel like the scene is the sword is still in me. I shoot her. Everybody's like, there's a moment of like people looking, and she just falls backwards without a head. The sword still in her hand, like
Yeah, and it
pulling
slides
out.
out of you.
Yeah, like,
and like
oh,
clatters to the
fuck.
floor. Yeah, a gout of blood comes out between your
Yeah,
fingers.
there's a nice big arterial spurt both out of her decapitated bit and then out of you.
So Broom, there is a moment where everyone, your team and their team, is all stopped, realizing like your team is like looking on in a different kind of horror. It's not we're gonna lose, but like, do we want to win this way?
Mm-hmm.
You see all this happen. Everybody's kind of like slack-jawed for a second. What do you do?
I think like everyone's like standing and staring at Silk, who's bleeding from the gut. And I turn to the Falling Star people and I say, maybe this didn't go the way that you expected. You know, I understand. You are upset. We are upset. How about you gift us these weapons and leave, and we will call the score settled.
In the middle of this speech somewhere is the clattering of a pistol to the ground while I'm like staggering with like blood.
Oh my god!
Like,
Where the fuck is Elodie?
And I from behind, like my like I reach like behind me and I take out my scary weapon or tool, which is a cat of nine tails, and I just like the like tails, like I run over my hand, and I'm using Savage. I'm just like
to frighten them into
yeah,
leaving.
I'm just like, so perhaps we leave it at this.
Okay, let's see how frightening you actually are. Let's.
I
have a
love
roll.
that with the cat of nine tails. Yeah.
Okay, so +1 die with command. What would my position be?
I think it's a risky position. If one of their like leader types hadn't just died, this would be desperate. But
Okay.
yeah, so risky standard. And
A bonus die from Savage.
you get your savage bonus die. Yep.
Okay, let us see. A 5.
Okay. So you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, you reduce effect, or you end up in a desperate position. Yeah, I mean, I think the complication here isn't for now. The complication is that leaving them like alive and not like finishing the fight, getting them to leave. The ones that live are going to redouble their efforts to like come at you. That they're not, they're scared of you now, but they'll be angry later and they won't be scared anymore.
And they'll be vengeful.
They'll be vengeful, exactly.
That is their mistake.
Okay. So I think what happens is like they start to like, run off. But one of them before he leaves, he sneers at you. And he says, this isn't over. And looks enviously at your stolen blade before disappearing into the streets for running off.
And I turn to our thugs and I say, He is right. We must go and speak to Salt. This was not an honorable position.
Yeah, they don't look like a team that just want to fight. They're like helping the
Everyone's kinda
injured
stunned
and like looking around like, what the fuck was that? Y'all got some explaining to do.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll handle that in I guess downtime as a thing. So let's take a break here, and when we get back, we'll do some downtime actions, and we will bid good night to Uduwasha. So stick around. We'll be right back with more Blades in the Dark. hello everybody, and welcome back. Well, that was a massacre. Congratulations, you did the thing. You murdered your enemies.
We're bravos. What are we gonna
That's your
do?
jam,
Not
exactly.
massacre them?
So,
Yeah.
I was looking on the break. I was looking at the factions. I was just flipping through things. I figured out why the Eurasian likes y'all so much. Their leader's name is Saru Dava. So
I might have done that on purpose. Yeah, that might have been intentional.
It'll be fun when you inevitably need to usurp or overthrow them.
We're gonna take the patron advance, and that'll be our patron for a while, and then we'll have to kill them and take their place.
Yeah, of course.
As natural.
When you inevitably need to overthrow them in this next hour.
So we have. I mean, we might come back. We're not going to delete the account. We have to find an opportunity to introduce Dave to the city of Uduwasha.
I see what you're doing here.
He can play someone from Duskwall. It'll fit his accent perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
So all right, so there's some things to do post thing because you succeeded at your job. But the fallout and follow-up, both reward and risk, payoff, heat, entanglements, and then we'll do downtime activities right quick, and then that'll be it. So let's figure out the payoff situation here. I mean, the payoff depends on your gang, right? Or is that just XP, depending on like what your gang stuff is?
Yeah. The payout is just based on the nature of the job. I feel like our payout that we would secure, if we even get a payout at all from this mission, is that we keep a hold of our extortion racket, and it's the extortion racket.
Or even the extortion racket pays out rather than not paying out.
What this is really about, right? It's not like if the weapons were such a big deal, we might be like, oh yeah, we'll pay you for them or whatever, but it's about our name being our name. It's about us needing to like maintain control of the streets.
Right. Well, you've gone from these no good hoodlums with weapons above their stature to like, look, we know how to. We may not use them the way you do, but look at all this blood.
Look, we just deployed them all over your face. Yeah.
So let me see. The crew earns coin based on the nature of the operation and any loot they seize. So I mean, I think 2 coin from like additional shit that they might have on them.
Yeah.
And then just like bolstering the racket. I think the crew getting 2 coin makes sense.
Great. Job.
Now there's a boss you should be paying. The Eurasian, they take a cut. So you lose 1 coin from the 2 that you get. So half that money,
we're scraping by.
Half that money goes to the Eurasian to be like, yes, you had your little skirmish. Fine, now let's get back to business. Go squeeze those merchants.
It's all right. White Crane's dead. I'm happy.
we can get back to more profitable ventures that aren't as dangerous.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Let's talk about heat.
Oh yes, let's.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this is probably 4 heat. Loud and chaotic, high exposure. It could have been louder, but there was an explosion.
To agree.
Yeah,
we didn't like dismantle the city's infrastructure in any meaningful way or any of this kind of stuff.
Right, you didn't blow up a train station or anything.
That pushes you into like devastating, right?
Yeah, if you had blown up the market or like made.
Yeah, we blew up a bridge one time.
Yeah, I mean every Blades group ends up in this position, especially Bravos. We stole munitions from a train, like, and knocked a train off the rails. It was a thing. So like people do these things, but this one, we'll start with 4. They're not a high profile or well connected target. It didn't happen on hostile turf. You're not at war with another faction. Killing was involved. So you go up to 6.
6 heat.
Yeah.
That's a lot for how little we got out of it.
Yeah.
But we should get good rep out of this.
Yes, your wanted level is quite low. Still, you haven't rolled over into a new wanted level. So, cool. Okay, so entanglements. After payoff and heat are determined, the GM generates an entanglement.
Adam, we need to get rep first.
Oh yeah, rep. Right. I'm just following the order that John has.
Oh, is it? Stupid John.
Stupid John. I don't even see a thing for
rep might be in the payout section along with coin actually.
Let me take a look.
But it does happen now.
Yes. Yeah.
and it's basically we get rep equal to the tier of the target +1, as long as, or maybe it's listed in the heat section because it's based on whether or not people know we did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely remember it, but I'm not seeing that. Oh, here we go. It's before coin.
Okay,
You earn 2 rep by default. If the target is higher tier than you, take 1 rep per higher tier. So you get
2 more.
You get well, no, they're are they 1 or 2? I think they might only be 1.
I thought you said they were 2.
I can check.
We've been treating them like they're 2, so let's say they're 2.
Okay.
What is this? The
The falling
star people?
guys.
The falling over from being blown up guys.
Yeah.
Falling
Yeah.
ill.
The falling star were tier 1.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we treated them like they were 2. Maybe they're cooler than that. So, yeah. So you'll get 4 rep.
Great.
Good.
Because we can spend rep as well, right? So that's super useful.
The falling directly to the ground after being murdered.
Yep.
School.
Okay. So now we figure out entanglement.
Entanglements.
So let's see. You're at what heat are you at right now?
We are at heat 6.
Okay.
And our wanted level is 0.
All right. After payoff and heat or you generate an entanglement using thing. Find the column that matches their current heat level. A number of dice equal to wanted level. If it's 0, it's 2 and keep. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll do the wanted level roll.
Okay.
And we get a 1.
Right. Okay. So the on a 6+ for heat, the entanglement is flipped or interrogation, which totally makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense.
One of the PC's rival arranges for one of your contacts, patrons, clients, or a group of your customers to switch allegiance due to the heat on you. They're loyal to another faction now. Yeah. So I feel like, yeah, it would make sense for one of your contacts to be like, you know what, y'all are dangerous as fuck. Maybe the crew contact, maybe the ward boss, because she's like, y'all are amateurs.
Yeah, she like turns her back on us.
I'm gonna go and deal with your boss. I'm gonna go to the Irigine and be like, these fuckers, I don't want to work with them anymore. You give me someone else. Yeah, so I think that's what happens, right? Is that you told her this was going to be a different thing than it was, and you're like, no, you risked business, and that hurts everybody.
And so, is there anything we can do about this, Anna? Do we have options? Because for some of the stuff, for some of the entanglements, you can like buy people off. Or
I don't think so. I think what you can do is you can
Fix it later with a job.
Yeah, you go and make it up to her and like get her back. Yeah, I think that's how that goes. Because yeah, if it was interrogation, that's the one where you pay 3 coin or they beat you up.
Yeah, totally.
Or I guess you snitch. Cool.
Yeah. This one has no like escape clause, essentially. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense within the fiction. I'm certainly not arguing that.
Yeah, totally. Okay, cool. So that's your entanglement. And now between scores, everybody gets a downtime activity. So during the downtime phase, everybody has 2 downtime activities. Now, someone will get 1 extra one, right? Is that how that works for the market?
So it's if we're planning our next score within
We get
our
a bonus
turf,
downtime.
then we can get an extra one. But it has to be about planning for or working towards.
So it's like
Okay,
before whatever the next score is,
Sure,
not after,
this one. Okay. So during downtime, and we'll go through everybody. We'll do one, then we'll go back around and everybody will do another one, unless you have like a real quick one you want to do. You can acquire an asset. So you can gain temporary use of a cohort, a vehicle, a service, or a special item for a gang of your tier, which is gonna be hard for you. You can start and work on a long-term project, such as like getting married. You can recover if you've been injured. You basically just create a clock and recover from that. You can reduce the heat on the gang. You can train, and you can indulge your vice. And indulging your vice is how you get your stress back. So does anybody have anything they know they definitely want to do?
I know what I want to do.
What are you going to do? You're going to get unstabbed?
No, actually.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna start a long-term project.
Okay.
To get back our ward boss.
Nice. So you're gonna go and smooth. You're gonna go smooth over.
I'm gonna go smooth things over with Takara.
Okay. All right. So that'll be the
smooth
project.
Yeah.
So you can start a new project on your sheet. Add a new clock. And yeah, call this clock smooth things over with the ward boss. And what do you do? What do you do to work on that? Because you start the clock and then you can work on it, right? You can do a thing.
Where is my clock adding button? It's
Bottom
around
right,
here.
it says clocks, and there's add or modify.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right above notes on the sheet.
So what's the segments for this, Adam?
I think probably like this was embarrassing and annoying, but not like lethal or
Not
or
crippling,
awful.
yeah.
Yeah, let's call it 4. I think you could
Okay.
make it up during this downtime if you wanna
right.
put in the effort.
So I go to see Takara. I'm assuming she's got some kind of den or like
She's
you
got
know,
she's a government official, right? So she has like a ward office that she works
Yeah.
out of, and she has like clerks and stuff that work for her.
But she's a corrupt government official.
Yes, she's corrupt, but not so corrupt. She's joined the Irgene, so you could meet her after hours elsewhere.
Yeah, I think my plan is to meet her at some like bar or restaurant kind of environment, like sit down and have a polite conversation about what went down.
So what do you do to lure her into this meeting? Because she's like, no, I'm not talking to your ass. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not saying you have a chance to fail. I'm just curious how you convince her to have this meeting.
I think Silk goes about it in a way that's like, I really want to smooth things over. Like, I know that it didn't go the way
Right.
I know it didn't go the way you wanted. It didn't go the way I wanted either.
So
My people acted by themselves, like one of
Right,
those.
you're apologizing.
Yeah.
You're basically like, look, I'm really sorry. Can we talk about this?
Yeah.
It probably involved like writing a letter initially where you have to like bounce scrape a little bit and then you have to go and bounce scrape in person.
Okay, cool. All right. So you have a conversation with her. You sit down. Where did you say you meet her?
At some bar or
Okay.
restaurant somewhere, like not high class, but not low, because I mean she's a ward boss. It's like
Right. Well, I mean, do you meet her in this ward or do you invite her somewhere else? Because around here, she's under a lot more scrutiny, right? People will notice. They're like, "Oh, it's the ward boss," and they'll like, give her free
no,
meals. and-
we go somewhere else. Like I don't wanna like put her in a position where she has to be seen doing a thing.
Right. Okay. Sure.
But yeah, I mean I'm all still a little hurt as well during this whole thing.
I imagine that you dress up, right? You hide
Yeah.
the gaping chest wound.
I
It's not like
mean,
you're bleeding on the table.
thing is, as a slide, I have access to things like fine clothes and jewelry.
All right, so you go somewhere decent, and over some delicious falafel, the two of you discuss the potential for a continued relationship.
For a continued relationship,
Okay.
exactly.
Well, let's have you make a roll in. Let's have you.
So I think
let's
that's
have
a
you
sway.
Oh
I think
yeah.
that's a sway.
Yep. I have a devil's bargain for you.
A devil's bargain away.
You have to throw Eloni under the bus. You have to be like, Eloni, you have to be like, there is a person in my organization. It's their fault, not ours. And you have to like sour her on Eloni specifically, basically.
Silk happily throws anyone
Okay.
she can under the bus to
As
get
long
what
as
she
it's
wants.
not herself, right?
Yeah,
All right,
as long
cool.
as it isn't her.
All right.
Man, we are really bolstering this honorable reputation we have.
But the thing is, right? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm going to be the person talking to this ward boss anyway. What do I care what she thinks about Eloni?
Okay.
Yeah, there's just the clock that gets started to have me killed or whatever. Or
Right.
arrested.
Yeah, exactly. So I fail,
You get a 3,
which is just one slice on my
1
clock
second.
instead.
So it's very much just like, yes, honeyed wine and honeyed words. We'll see. I'm used to dealing with professionals, right? And so, she drags it out. She drags it out through the whole meal, being like, making a show of listening and being the immaculate politician. But in the end, she's just like, take me out for dinner a few more times and we'll see.
Okay.
So she's going to take more work to get at than
All right,
that.
and then who's next?
Yeah, who wants to do a downtime action?
I have
Well,
an idea.
Okay.
You stole my idea, Elf. So now I gotta scrape and pick up something.
I want to try and I want to assuage our reputation a little bit and our cohort's ideas about us by like fixing up the market that we fucking fucked over. I'm gonna
Oh,
like
you and your community service.
yeah. I want to go down there and I want to like, get some dirt, sand or whatever, pat down the streets, like
Okay.
fix up someone's cart.
I mean, I think
And I'm gonna bring these two guys with me to like be like, hey, look, we're helping. We're
Right.
fixing. Look at this.
Like, it's so
fixing,
weird.
helping."
Like, wait, aren't those people that extort us? What are they doing? I think they're sweeping, sir. But why?
Mm.
But what's great is that this is how actual like neighborhood like crime organizations end up like they do these things, right? Where they're
You're
like,
like part of the community in this weird way.
yeah, totally. Where it's like, no, if you run, we're gonna like push you around and stuff, but it's for good reason. We care about you. We know what's best for you. So like,
If anyone else pushes you around, then we got a problem.
yeah, exactly. Oh, that's so good. Okay, I think this is a long term project.
Okay.
And we can call this like, I don't know, like community rep, like, because it's not about your making your gang feel better. It's not repairing that problem. It's like letting the people in the neighborhood know like you're on their side.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just
And
call
we
it. Let's
blew
just
up
call
their
it
market.
community service.
Okay.
And I think building up a relationship with the community at large. Let's call that a 6.
Okay.
6.
And
like-
because they are a faction as well, right? Like there's the people of a given district.
Mhm.
Is that a thing in Uduwasha as well?
Sure, yeah,
Because it is a thing in Duskfall.
yep.
And so I like that idea of like the people love us.
Yeah,
The
the
common-
merchants here, you want them because you can push them, you can pressure them, but you can also have them be like, yes, the neighborhood's protectors, so that later they'll like point the cops in the wrong direction and yeah. Listen,
better
like,
to have nice monsters.
listen, the Irigene are too big to give you the kind of personal, close customer service that we can give you. We're a small, agile organization.
And I mean, in the meantime, I'm like, Cotier, like, give me some coffee. Give me some,
Right.
give me some coffee. And like, I'm not letting them forget the whole reason we're here. Like, I go up to the jewelry person's booth and I say, these earrings are beautiful, the same ones as before. And I say, I really think they would look good on me. What do you think?
All right, cool. Well, let's have you roll sway. No, consort. I mean, they're equally bad. So
Wait, what? I don't have either of those.
no. So the way it works is you're gonna roll 2 dice and take the worst of the 2. The system will do it for you automatically. Also,
Okay.
Elf pointing out that you're the Dunder Mifflin of crime is exactly the metaphor I was going for.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good work.
Yeah.
So what's the difference here in terms of like?
I mean, mechanically they're the same. They're the same. I think this is consorting. You're consorting with the people.
Okay,
Assistant to the regional extortioner.
that's fine.
Oh my god, that's so good.
I don't. So consort.
Yes.
Do I have to put in risky standard or anything?
No, don't worry about it because
It doesn't matter on
you're
downtimes.
You're filling in a pie.
And then no bonus dice, right?
Yep. Okay, so you
3.
take the lowest of the 2. So you got a
3.
3, which is what
One pie
slice. Yeah. Do you know where to start the project? Yeah, you got it. Community service. Okay, good stuff.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Eloni, what are you doing?
Do we have any? Do you have any like negative clocks running against us right now?
Yes. You have the
the one where-
gang is half turned on you because of that devil's bargain.
Yeah, and so what specifically is that one?
I think you named it, and I liked what you called it, but I can't remember exactly right now. But it was like the cohort deserts you or something.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And it's at
for
204.
dishonorable conduct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't really desert you. They would kick you out. They would be like, no, we're
It's
the
like retribution.
we're the gang. You're assholes. Get out.
And so, yeah, I'm gonna try to make it up to them.
Mhm.
I'm gonna offer an apology to the crew, but not by way of like words. I'm gonna like, I get them all something nice.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Um,
Because what are their tags? Like, what are they about?
they are
Yeah.
fearsome and principled.
Right.
And so I think there's like a traditional Eruvian like gift that you get to like as like an apology. It's like a formal apology.
Right.
And though I am an outsider, I know this tradition. And so,
Right,
I
so
go
it's
out
partly
behind
it's
this
partly
thing.
like the thing itself, and partly the fact that you know that the thing is the right thing to do here.
Yeah, and it's like a way of me showing that I still have respect for the culture, even though I'm some weird outsider.
Cool. Okay. What's the symbol of mea culpa in Eruvia?
I feel like it's something like
I guess
there's
it would depend on where the easy one here would be like a sharing of water or something, like a ritual. Like if this custom came from the desert tribes, it would definitely be like a water thing. We'd get all like Fremen up in here. But if it's a
or
coast,
is it like tea specifically, or
yeah, maybe apology tea. I made you tea.
or
Apology tea is great.
maybe there's an apology liquor or like some other kind of like drug.
Like a bottle or something, yeah.
Yeah. And so I want to find a nice example of this somewhere in the city. So this is a project that I'm starting to like undo that project,
Yep.
essentially.
It's a race. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think my first step that I take on it is actually going to be a hunt roll, because I'm going through the city being like, no, I need like the best bottle that I can afford. I need to find like the good stuff of this like apology gift.
Mhm.
And so it's like looking for just the right one.
And you're spending a lot of time at market stalls and stuff with people being like, no, what do you no outsider, you don't understand. You don't just buy this to drink it. Like if you want something to drink like here and they try to sell you like cheap whiskey or something, like you don't get it. So
I have to like find a person who is like willing to sell me this, give me some good qualities.
And I think that like the gang, I'll match you, right, for difficulty. I think it's only a 4 slot.
Yeah.
A 4 slice clock because
like we're all fucking rough and tumble.
Yeah, and it's early days. It's not like this is a very difficult thing. You could just do the apology and make it better. So.
Yeah, so I have a clock to redeem myself in the eyes of the gang, and my first step will be to roll hunt to like find the best possible example of this gift that I can get.
Okay.
I guess
nice.
6.
Okay. So a 6 is what?
Puts it at 3 segments.
3. Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so yeah, this is like a montage of me like, hitting the streets and like talking to people, and I'm like in all these different districts around town trying to find this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I like it. Okay, so second round. Anybody got a second one?
I must heal. I must
Yes.
heal.
Yeah. So for recovery, seek treatment and heal your harm. You might visit a physicker to stitch your wounds and soothe your mind, or a witch who specializes in healing charms. Recovery is like a long-term project. Your healer rolls. So Tinker for a PC, or the quality level of an NPC, and you mark number of segments on your healing clock, depending on how they roll. So
I don't know any doctors, but I do know a person who has Tinker.
I think that Andrew's character knows a physic.
Yeah, my friend Muhan is a physiker.
Oh,
but they're
Muhan?
not your
Okay.
friend.
Well, introduce me.
Yeah,
I'm
you like
injured.
drag my ass out to
Help
like
me.
take you to the doctor.
which is
and
Oh
great
my-
because you
Or
just
you-
literally just drag them super hard to the ward boss, right?
Yeah.
yeah, and now you're coming to me for help, you fucking
Yeah.
two-face.
My dear friend, I am hurt. Please, do you know anyone? I do not. All of my contacts are salespeople and traders and coffee makers and broom.
And I'm like, let me see it. And I like pull your clothing out of the way. I just like basically like open your shirt and like poke at your wound. And, like stick a finger in it and like smell the blood. And I'm like,
Ow!
no, it's no good. You're going to die.
What?
No, it's already infected. I like turn away from you as if you were already a corpse.
Silk just goes like, I knew that. Wait a second, you lying fuck, because I
Right, you
always
can
can tell.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I'm like, the thing I've turned around to do is actually to like grab my bag so we can go out.
Right.
Yeah,
Put this little satchel over my shoulder.
I just follow you, grumbling a little bit.
And yeah, as we're leaving, I'm like, I have other errands. I'm looking for something, but here and there we'll find Muhan. He moves around. And so it's like this is like interspersed with my montage of trying to find this thing. There's like, we see a couple more segments where I'm dragging Silk along and she's like holding her wound and I'm like haggling with someone.
Yeah, and I think you end up finding Muhan in in like a small like a family home. There's a woman, a very pregnant woman. Her husband is at work. Muhan is visiting her in the home. It's her and her sister. and so you have to kind of like be like, Muhan, we need your help, and he's in the middle of a house call essentially, because like he says,
Yeah.
he wanders around, and so he's like talking to this woman and telling her, you know, what to expect in the next few weeks. She's gets ready to give birth, while you're like, yeah, my friend got stabbed, can we like talk about this?
Well, so yeah, Eloni is like goes to interrupt and then sees what's happening and doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
and it's clear that like because of this particular circumstance that they like refuse to interrupt, and they turn around to Salt and they're like, or to Silk, and they're just like, no, he's busy, we wait outside, and I like push you back out of this person's house.
Fine.
And, like,
Sure.
sit you
Yep.
down on the
No problem.
street.
Like, sit
I've got
down.
all the time in the world.
I'm definitely not bleeding to death. It's cool.
And yeah, like this whole time Silk is just like, probably like, why did I get this personality? But anyways, eventually,
but also Silk is just a whiner. You know,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like, I'm hurt.
Yeah.
You know, like she doesn't do the fighting.
So Muhan pokes his head out the door, and he says we're all done in here. Come inside.
yeah, and Eloni's like, not as urgent, just one life, not two, and like is like helping Silk up the stairs or whatever into this little.
Yeah, into the little house.
Yes,
So the woman has gone upstairs. The pregnant woman has gone upstairs to like lie down. Her sister is downstairs, and you can smell like tea, like steeping. And she's just like being polite. You know, she's doing that thing that people who are forced to live in close proximity to other people do, where she's making it clear that even though you are in the same room and there's nowhere else for her to go, she's not paying attention or listening. So she's like humming to herself and creating this like privacy barrier for you, even though it's not real privacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And so Eloni's friend takes a look at you.
Muhan, right? You help me out here. I have a little sword wound.
Yeah, and he looks at it and looks up at you, and then looks at Eloni and looks at the wound, kind of like rubs his chin, and he's like, I have some terrible news for you.
Don't do this to me. Don't.
He's like, I think you've been stabbed. And he looks.
Accurate.
Yeah. So what do you do? How do you react? He's like, I think you've been stabbed.
Silk's face is just straight like, it was like, don't do this to me, don't do the same joke I've already heard, sort of thing.
No,
but then it's a different one, and she's like, this is the face. Okay.
And he laughs and he's like, don't worry, friend, I don't think you're going to die. Well, not now anyway. Eventually you will, but not today. He kind of scowls at it. He's like, this does look like it hurts though. Let's start there. And he opens up his bag and he takes out some kind of like herbal like remedy or whatever, and he hands you like a pouch, and he's like, if the pain is ever too much, make this tea, drink it, not too much, especially if you plan to ride a horse or read a book, but enough to dull the pain. It should keep you. It's a sharp. You were stabbed with a sharp knife by a professional, so you'll be fine. And he takes out a needle and thread, and he says, "Now the mother to be is trying to rest, so try not to scream too much while I fix this."
I will grit my teeth and bear with you.
Mm-hmm. So he goes to stitch you up.
Yeah.
Let's see how he does.
So it's a fortune roll, right?
Yeah,
Based on his tier.
Yeah, and I assume he's the same tier as you, right?
Tier 0. Right?
Yeah.
So it's 2 dice, and
I have this image of him like he's got the curved needle for stitching people up, but he like licks the tip before he stitches on you.
Yeah, totally. But he does a good job. He gets a 5.
Yeah.
So you fill 2 segments of your healing clock.
Lovely.
Okay, great.
Who's next?
Yeah, who wants to go next? Broom, do you have an idea for your second action?
I would like to indulge my vice.
Nice. All right. So who's your vice purveyor, and what is your vice again?
My vice is obligation. The former coworkers in the E regime.
That's right. So you're obligated to them in some fashion. Tell us a bit about that.
As you no doubt noticed, Dava is my last name, and it is the same name as my aunt, who is in charge of the Irajin. And so even though I am not working alongside them, I still work with them from time to time when they need an extra hand, when they need information that I have, when they need a bulky shadow in the background. It is my job. It is my duty.
Right, you moonlight for the actual mafia, not
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's interesting that normally that it would be the other way around. And maybe sometimes you feel like your obligations are your real job and this is just some other bullshit.
But it relieves my stress to be not the person making the decisions.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, just go and do what you're told.
I'm able to just punch people and not worry about when they will come after me.
Right. So that's the thing, and it's probably in another part of town. You're like that the traveling salesman that has another family in a different city, right? Where it's like you're part of another gang in a different part of town, and people know you there by like a different name, and like you have this whole other criminal thing that you do.
I mean,
Well, she
with
gets to-
the Irajin, I am Navia Dava.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say she gets to be by her real name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
With
is
the
also
Irajin,
powerful stuff.
I am who I am.
Yeah.
With our little group, I am Broom.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
yeah. So do I just like click on Indulge Vice?
So when you indulge your vice, it's like a resistance roll in reverse. So I think gaining stress, you clear them. The effectiveness depends on your character's worst attribute. I believe the sheet will handle it for you. How much stress do you have right now?
I have 5.
Okay, so if you get a 6, you will overindulge.
I overindulge.
There it is. All right. So, overindulgence. If your vice roll clears more stress than you had, you overindulge. A vice is not reliable, controllable habit. It's a risk. You make a bad call in acquiring your vice or while under its influence. To bring the effect of the bad decision into the game, choose an overindulgence. Do you attract trouble? Do you brag about your exploits, giving 2 heat to the gang? Are you lost? This one would be the one to play in a one-shot because you vanish for a few weeks. You play another character. You just disappear. Your current purveyor cuts you off. You're tapped, so the Irajin is like, no, you can't work for us. We heard what you did. What do you think?
I think that like my overindulgence is I get too into it, right? Like I lose some time back with my group, back with my home, like back with my family. I just keep taking jobs and forget that I have to go back and run the market and be the extortion.
What's so good is that like you've just pissed off this sword school and then the gang's tough vanishes.
I'm just
Great.
Yeah,
Just what we want to hear.
it's like the same. It's hard to keep track.
Cool. Yeah, so you become lost. You vanish for a few weeks, overindulging in your family work. Cool. Okay. Yeah.
You're being the drummer for that pop band instead of working in your noise metal side project. It's fucking brutal.
Yeah, you totally ghosted. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Okay. And I believe Ilona, you have one left.
I get one more.
And then we can talk about if coin if you want to spend to do any more.
And so I recently gained the trauma haunted,
Yes, you did.
which is that I am lost in reverie, reliving past horrors, seeing things. And I think this is part of why Eloni has had this like sudden streak of like trying to do right by people and like make amends for things, is that there's like a lot of like guilt in my being haunted and I'm displacing it into these other things. And so the next one of these that I will pursue is to start a different long-term project,
Yeah.
also about making amends, but this will be with Nexet, my rival who is a sentinel.
Ah, nice.
And so I think that this relates to my like shipping days or whatever. And so they're like a sentinel who like works in the port or something, like they're a customs agent is kind of what I'm imagining.
Right. Okay. So we're season 2 of The Wire now.
Yeah, and that I've wronged this person in the past, I think relates to some weird like supernatural thing that we brought back with our salvage. and so
Right. So contraband or something that you snuck into the city, and Nexet got blamed for it, or it was like on their watch.
I feel like it maybe like affected her and her family or something. Like she got hit with some, like as if it were like radioactive and she got irradiated.
Oh, so she got
Like
sick.
she got like exposed to
Right,
this.
and couldn't work, and her family suffered as a result.
And so and like maybe she's still sick and it's something that she's been trying to like get help with, but
Right.
doesn't know the right channel.
She's lying to people and saying she's better, but it's getting worse.
Yeah, and so I'm going to do this in a really like circumspect way that where I don't like talk to her directly because I know that she doesn't
She
want
doesn't
that.
want to talk to you. Yeah.
But I'm going to find some like weird whatever like supernatural cure can be done to get rid of this like demon taint or like ghost taint that is in it. Actually, I think that's what it is because it's weird for where we are at in that she is like possessed by a ghost or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm gonna try to locate an exorcist.
Cool. Yeah, it's a rare. You can go and hire the one guy
The
that
one
works
spirit
here.
warden.
The one spirit warden.
In fact, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna like write letters or whatever else to like be like, no, for real, someone's actually possessed, and the one spirit warden's like, nah,
Sure. Pull the other one. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's a common
The
prank.
one spirit.
It's a
Yeah.
common prank. This
Yeah.
this guy, right? Like he has no real job. Let me come up with a name. His name is like.
I fuck it because I love the idea of this character.
I know it's my favorite little detail. So John, here's the thing: if you're not familiar with the setting of Duskwall, so they have the spirit wardens whose job it is to like make sure that the dead get attended to properly, because if they don't, their ghosts will like lurk around and possess people and create vampires and shit. It's not a good thing to have happen. So their job is to deal with that. However, they don't need them here because the well just vacuums up ghosts, but it's an imperial position, right? There has to
and
be
it's,
one
it's
in the city.
imperial law that there be at least one, right?
Yeah, and so this guy, he's a guy from Duskwall. He's an Akarosi that has been sent to this city. He probably barely speaks Hadrathi and has a fairly important position, but has nothing to do. I love it. It's such a good little
One
detail.
of those like, it's like a classic like colonialist thing, right? Where you're in this like stuffy, warm place.
Oh my God, I have
one fan in the window, like
I
hating.
have such a good name. I was wondering if I was going to get to use one of these people. So his name is Edlin. His name is Edlin Haig. And and he's stuck here by himself. He's not a hard man. There's a lot of rumor about him because, people are curious. They're like, what's this pointless dude? What's this vestigial dude doing in town? They say that he's on the run from like his past. Maybe he's in exile or something, but there's lots of rumors about him. And and you can
Okay, so I have this long-term project to enlist Edlin Haig to help with an exorcism.
Yeah.
How many segments is this project?
I think 6 probably.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I think that this will be like a consort role.
Mhm.
I have to like talk to people and try to like.
Yeah, and I think like you said, it's
bureaucrat.
getting past the like, because he has an office and stuff, but they're constantly being trolled, basically. Like,
Yeah, like people like bring stuff to them as jokes or
yeah, totally. Like
out of a misunderstanding.
There's a ghost in
Oh,
my
no,
basement.
there's a ghost.
Yeah.
And he's like a scientist. He's just like, no, strictly impossible. No, couldn't possibly. Yeah. Okay. So,
Or sometimes he shows up and it's a demon, and he's like, "Oh no, I don't do this. Demons,
not my
no.
department.
I'm sorry. Come back to me when you have a type 2 phantasm."
Yeah. Great. So fucking Egon Haig here. Yeah. So I have to like navigate bureaucracy. So I'm gonna roll consort to do that. I do this with 0 dice.
Okay.
So wish me luck.
All right.
I got 1
2.
segment.
You got a segment. Yeah.
It's, the worst I can do is make 6 rolls to make this happen. So 3 scores from now.
I love the idea of him being kind of an Egon Spengler character. Yeah.
Right, because it's like they're not like spiritualists in that sense. They're like they know how ghosts work. There's like a science to it.
So here's a random bit of digression trivia about me for you. Some kids who grew up in the era in which I grew up, they idolized the Jean-Claude Van Dammes of the world, the Arnold Schwarzeneggers of the world. Not me. Egon Spangler was my man. I wanted to be a Ghostbuster so bad when I was a kid.
Oh,
And
that's so
not
cute.
and not the cool Ghostbusters either. I liked the dorkiest Ghostbuster. Yep.
The smartest Ghostbuster.
Yes, obviously he's the best. Ivo Shandor, come on.
right.
So so you start to try to recruit that guy.
Let's do XP.
Yeah, let's do it. So for XP, each of us, we go through each character and answer some questions, and then we do the crew. So let's start with Aloni, because you're raring to go.
Great.
All right. So you've already, for Desperate Actions, you already marked those.
Mhm.
At the end of each session, for each item below, mark 1 XP in your playbook, or an attribute, or 2 XP if it occurred multiple times. Did you address a challenge with tracking or violence? 2 times.
Two times.
2 times. Yeah. 2 times. Yeah. Okay. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I feel like I super did that a whole bunch.
Yes. You shot someone with a harpoon gun. That's expressing your background.
Right? My nautical roots.
Yep. And you pointed out several times that you're not from around here and talked about being a sailor a bunch of times. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel it. Did you struggle with issues from your vice or traumas during the session?
Not really.
Not so much. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Esha Kavira. Did
Good
you
old Esha Kavira.
address a challenge with deception or influence?
I mean, no, I don't think I did.
I think you did at least once, right? You tried to talk your way out of a sword fight.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's influence.
Remember, it's addressing the challenge, not succeeding.
I guess that's true. All right, we'll call that one then.
Okay.
And then I would argue for
The consort
second
roll
one,
at the beginning, maybe.
because you were like trying to talk to people to set things up, and then afterwards, when there were problems, you dealt with them by talking to people
To
again,
smooth
right?
it
Going
over,
to try to
yeah.
make a meeting.
Oh
with
yeah,
the
okay,
boss.
all right, yeah, no, I see what you mean.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I don't think it really came up very much. I mean, the trade stuff is all very like she's a talker,
I
but
think your heritage came up because you like knew people.
yeah, the
Right.
sword school part definitely.
Yeah, I give you one.
Give me one for that. For sure.
Did you struggle with issues from your vice or traumas?
No.
No. But that's, it's the first session. So
Yeah.
okay. Navia, did you address a challenge with violence or coercion?
Every challenge I address with violence.
Yeah. So yeah, I think 2 for that for sure.
I agree.
Did you
got some coercion in there too, just for good measure?
Did you
Yeah.
express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Yes.
Let's see. I believe you, but yeah, Underworld Muscle, Arabian Crime Family. Yeah, that was a big part of all the stuff you did. Yep.
Do I get 2 for that?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's reasonable. Did you struggle with issues from your vice or traumas? I think yes, you did.
The vice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just because you overindulged, but because, like, I think the fact that you have this split thing, we got to see the first time of it being a problem, and it would get worse before it gets better. Cool. And then the crew, for crew advancements, did you execute a successful battle, extortion, sabotage, or smash and grab operation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did you contend with challenges above your current station? Yes.
Yes.
Did you bolster your reputation or develop a new one? Yes, two times for sure on this one.
Yeah.
Because you both bolstered your reputation for being like toughies, right? For being like in a position to be strong.
Straightforward, honorable. Yeah.
Yeah. But also you developed a new one in the sense of like not to be underestimated, maybe a little tricky. And then did you express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew? Now this one's harder because
As a first session, it's tough.
right. I think it's
I mean,
worth one.
How could we not?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
The essential nature is we're bravos.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing is I think this is like in Dungeon World when it's like did we discover something new about the world? You kind of
it's the first session.
it's the first session, so you kind of have to. But I wouldn't say
And-
you can get 2 out of it. I think it's 1 for now.
Well, I think the main thing we actually got to was the inner conflict in terms of like
Yes.
the methodologies and the
Yeah.
Well, and we talked about that in character creation when we were getting all these characters set up. Where I was like, that's going to be the thing for this. That's going to be the thing that causes problems. Is your honorable gang reputation plus their principles, and then you immediately doing things that are unprincipled.
Yeah, which you'll always do because you're criminals.
Yeah, exactly. Because you want to win, and you don't
And then,
win
like,
by playing fair.
Fucking Silk selling me out immediately, me doing a bunch of stupid shit for no good reason. That was
Yeah.
bad. Like that whole
I would
Thank
say
God,
that
right?
I acted with honor and principle.
well, and that's the third kind of counterpoint to it, right? Is that in the middle there's you actually upholding all the principles that we all
Yeah, like I imagine Silk paying a lot of lip service to the idea of honor and shit, but like behind everybody's back, it's that like, well, whatever works, you know, sort of approach.
Cool. Well, this has been one as promised, one night, I guess one morning, one morning in Uduwasha. I hope everybody enjoyed our little taste of Eruvian Blades. I love this game. Blades in the Dark
Yeah.
it's a very well engineered game, and we could sit here and talk about it for ages, but it's late. And we gotta close out the day for Roll20CON. So thank you so much for coming, everybody. Why don't we do some real quick shout outs?
Lightning fast.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna go and close it out with the team. So Elf, why don't you go first? What do you do, and where can people find you doing it?
I am Distracted Elf. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/DistractedElf or on Twitter at DistractedElf, or you can find me here on Thursdays and Fridays every week, basically playing Burning Wheel and Sprawl at the moment with this assortment of people plus Dave.
Excellent. Thank you, Elf. Thank you for helping me with rules stuff, Andrew. Where can people find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I do a show on Elf's channel on Monday nights where we are currently playtesting Girl by Moonlight, which is my game that I made. That's a hack of Blades in the Dark, but for doing magical girl anime type fiction. And you can check out me developing that on twitch.tv/actualfactual. There's spots for that on my YouTube, etc. You can find all of my information through Twitter at Commute and Crow. Boom.
Excellent. Thank you. And Blue Jay, Broom Jay.
Hi, I'm Blue Jay. You can find me at twitch.tv/BlueJay or on Twitter where I say things, BlueJay_712. Or here, like Elf and Andrew and Dave and Adam on Thursdays and Fridays at 11 a.m. Pacific.
Hell yes. Good stuff. They all said what I needed to say. So come on back tomorrow. We've got a whole nother day of exciting stuff going on. I'm going to be playing award-winning tabletop role-playing game Dungeon World, which is a game I co-wrote.
Shit.
I'm playing that tomorrow night at 6:30 Pacific, I believe, with Nadja, with Trist, Maggie, Jess Cox, and Caitlin. And it is going to be a complete shit show. I promise it will be total chaos. Because last year we closed out the show with a game with Jesse in it, and it was nuts. And if you know anything about the way Caitlin role plays, you know it's going to be a thing to behold. So try to come back for that. If you miss any of the Roll20 content, all the con stuff is going to be up both on the VODs right away and on our YouTube channel as well. The team has been all over getting that stuff ready for you, so you'll be able to check out any of the games that you missed. I hope to see you again tomorrow. And if not, as they said, we're here every Thursday and Friday playing the games. So thanks for coming, everybody. This has been Blades in the Dark. See you next time. Bye.